Fox Sports and Wendy's brings you CFB Now, hosted by our good friend Jenny Taft, bringing you The Fan, the best of college football throughout the season. You can check it out tonight after Wisconsin-Iowa on Twitter on the Fox Sports handle. Devin Bush paces the Michigan defense, 23 tackles, 1.5 sacks. It's the 10th all-time meeting between Michigan and Nebraska in about 15 minutes here on FS1. Last year, Jim Harbaugh began a tradition when he took his players to Rome for a team bonding trip. The destination this offseason, France, which included visits to Paris, Normandy, and Versailles. A journey that none of the Michigan players will soon forget.
Much like a 12th grade school that takes a trip to Rome, or the 8th grade that goes to Washington, D.C., I thought that would be great for football.
Paris was cool. It provided, a nice relaxing week for us.
There was a lot of sightseeing, going around the city and, going through museums. And it was just great to be over there with your teammates and just learning about everything and just taking everything in.
Well, who's got it better than us? Nobody!
Having the opportunity to lay a wreath at Normandy Cemetery, be able to walk Omaha beaches and see with your own eyes that this was what it was like on D-Day.
It was a great team bonding experience for us. Something I'll cherish for the rest of my life.
Best thing I've ever been a part of on a football team.
It was a great trip. I was honored and blessed to go with my guys.
You got to depend on each other to make it a great experience. Building that relationship off the field and being able to translate that into the weight room, onto the practice field, into the meeting rooms is definitely a great aspect to have.
That's really what college is supposed to be about. Felt like putting the college back in college football, and it felt like this was one way that we accomplished that.
Wonderful idea from Harbaugh. He's already announced that next year's trip, they're heading to South Africa. With that in mind, we go some big game hunting with today's Impact Players, sponsored by Wendy's, the official hamburger of NCAA football. Matt is just aching for another big game from Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Feed the man the ball, Coach.
Yes.
Not in the run game, in the pass game. Yeah, Donovan Peoples-Jones, 6'2", 210 sophomore. He was a former 5-star recruit a couple years ago. This is a big-time player, and he finally kind of broke out last week. You see the stats, 90 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns against SMU. He's slowly kind of becoming that, not only just a security blanket, but that explosive big-time play receiver for Shea Patterson on the outside. In this game, Nebraska, the 80th pass defense through the first 2 games so far. I love this kid. I want to see them throw the football more. It starts with number 9.
Coach, you were working your sources this week, and they were pushing that man, Maurice Washington, hard.
Well, he's Maurice Washington. You see him right there, a freshman running back. Now, he's not your little scat back. At 6'1", 190, he's got power, and it's not very often that a head coach calls a freshman special. And Scott Frost made the comment at the end of training camp. He says, I've got a freshman running back that makes big plays in the run and the pass every time he touches the ball. Right now, he's 3rd amongst the FBS schools in rushing. He's averaging almost 6 yards a carry. I think he's going to be an impact player for him, and it's going to start today.
So much youthful promise on this Nebraska roster. After struggling against Notre Dame in their season opener, Shea Patterson, a guy you want to see throw up more. He was really an impact player, Matt, against both Western Michigan and SMU, completing over 74% of his passes. That includes 6 touchdowns, just 1 pick. For a closer look at what's been working right, we send it over to Robert.
Yeah, Rob, high expectations coming into the season for Shea Patterson and this Michigan team. Good quarterback play is about making good decisions and then having good execution. But sometimes you can't get to that execution if you don't make a good decision. Let's go back to the Notre Dame game. Here, Shea Patterson's going to feel the pressure from the outside, but he can step up into the line of scrimmage. He has the room. Maybe he can make a play up there. Maybe he takes a sack near the line of scrimmage. The worst thing you can do on this play is lose ground and get out of field goal range. That's exactly what Shea Patterson did there. On this next play against SMU, you're going to see that Shea Patterson is going to have a free runner, a linebacker coming down the hole at him. Free runner coming in his face, but he sees that Zach Gentry, the tight end, has position over the safety. Shea Patterson knows that if he gets rid of this ball in time, even if he takes a big hit, he's going to be able to make a good throw and get it in time before the other safety has a chance to come over and make a play. Rob, Michigan's looked much better over the last 2 weeks. Shea Patterson's been playing much better. We're going to see how they do against a Big Ten-level defense today.
Well, Robert, from one quarterback to the other, the arm and wheels of true freshman Adrian Martinez. So impactful in that season-opening loss to Colorado. His knee, though, kept him out of last week's loss. Scott Frost said he's still a game-time decision, but it sure looks like he's going to play. Jim Harbaugh and Scott Frost, just 2 of 22 FBS head coaches who are in charge of their alma mater. Those two meet for the first time next here on FS1. And for Frost, this is going to be his first road game in charge of the Huskers. They've been plagued by injuries, penalties, turnovers, special team mishaps, quarterback shuffling. Today, Coach, what do they need to eliminate besides all of those things to be successful?
Well, going to a place like Michigan, it's difficult on your offense with a freshman quarterback going in there and eliminating mistakes. So your defense has to travel. And I'm looking for the defense of Nebraska to step up, take care of the running game, and then put pressure on Patterson. That will be the key in my mind.
I want to see Patterson air it out today. I really want to see it. Listen, I think when we think of Michigan, we think of running the football, run, set up the pass. He's proven they can throw. They're not a great running team this year. I want to see them throw the football to set up the run. Big day for Shea Patterson.
How do you become a good run team? You got to do it. Pound that rock. That's what I want to see from Michigan. Karan Higdon going to be back in this game today. Remember this. Against the last 5 ranked teams that Michigan has played, they've only averaged 84 yards. They need to work on that run game.
This week, Scott Frost said that it could get worse before it gets better, and you see another tough outing for Nebraska.
I do. I like Michigan in this one, 45-17.
I'm Michigan 45-14.
Did you look at my Nebraska not going to score 45 points? 35-14. I like Michigan 35-14.
30? Combined, these two programs have won 1,838 games. 2 of the top 5 winningest programs in college football. Kick it off next from Ann Arbor.
Defense, Nebraska.
The Maize and Blue make their way out onto the field here in Ann Arbor just moments ago before a packed crowd of over 106,000 strong. A Maize-Out Day. So much history. 16 combined national titles. 6 Heisman Trophy winners. They even shared a title back in '97. This is what Big Ten football is all about. Nebraska may be a new entrant, Spencer Tillman, but without question, this is a team that belongs. It's a game we grew up on. Yeah. And when you think about this matchup, 2 proud programs trying to find that proud tradition reborn, and you look at where Nebraska is, winless, yes, but with a freshman phenom at quarterback that we think may be able to go after his injury. What say you about Adrian Martinez as we get set to go?
Timmy, here's what I know. In Scott Frost's system, the quarterback cannot be a steward. He cannot be passive. He has to be a catalyst, a catalytic player that affects the numbers of defenders that are deployed to stop him and limit his production. 100% Adrian Martinez is good at that. You never can shut him down. But again, that's the question. It's one of trust that you brought up in our meeting the other day. Young quarterbacks like to impress their coaches. Is he been 100%? You were down there. I saw him as well. I think he looks good.
He looked good to Plant. We'll see how well he can run the football. I expect him to play. Now, in Shea Patterson, we're talking about a savior, the likes of which they haven't seen at Michigan as a dual threat, maybe since Chad Henne.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on his big-time playmaking capability versus the core values that may be a stress test for this Michigan program?
I like our colleague Matt Leinart, what he said about him. I like the throw game, man. You got to open this guy up. 70% completion, 170 on the rating in the passing department. What's there not to like about him? He's got assets at the tight end and the wide receiver position. But you know Jim Harbaugh, he wants to run downhill. But the problem is 2 of his 3-headed running back situation has been dinged up a little bit. We'll see if they can survive. It's going to be interesting.
There is an undercurrent of creative tension, though, in this matchup. And with more on that, here's Holly Saunders.
Oh, Tim, you are so right. Let me take it back to 1997, the game that never happened. Both Nebraska and Michigan went undefeated that season, and they shared the national title. Now, Scott Frost, of course, quarterback for the Cornhuskers that year, and said, quote, "If you could look yourself in the mirror and say if your job depended on playing either Michigan or Nebraska to keep your job, who would you rather play?" Well, Frost, of course, is now the head of Nebraska football and told us yesterday that even almost 20 years later, Tim, he is still a hated man in the state of Michigan, further fueling this fire. I love it, Tim.
Nothing quite like this building. Spencer, you and I were here for the Little Brown Jug game a year ago. Different set of circumstances. This is the Big Ten lid opener, and JT Spillman is back deep. He is a burner, but he will let this one go through for a touchback, and the Huskers will take over. Nebraska won the toss and elected to bring it up, and yes, it is Adrian Martinez, and this is a young man that's only gotten to play in that one game against Colorado before the injury to that knee took place. All eyes on him for what he can bring to the table. Look at those numbers. We tend to discredit the fact that he was unbelievable before being injured.
Well, just watch Don Brown, the defensive coordinator from Michigan. He's going to test them early. They play a lot of single, high safety, man coverage underneath, trying to put pressure on this mobile quarterback, see how healthy he really is.
You see right away they go empty, bring motion. Greg Bell is in the backfield. And it's Bell ahead to the 29, just shy of the 30-yard line. Chase Winovich, who is the leader of the pack, that outstanding defensive end and roommate of Shea Patterson, made the tackle.
He's so active on that outside, Tim. You got to watch him. They'll move him to the opposite side this time. We'll have a track on him.
And you see they're playing quickly. Option towards the boundary. Bell is in trouble. And taken down. It's a loss, Rashawn Gary. So you've seen those bookend defensive ends. Don Brown, the defensive coordinator, told us the best bookends he's had since he's been a defensive coordinator here.
That's right, and that speed and quickness is not limited to the guys on the back end. Once on the first 2 plays, Winovich, Gary Rashawn, all of those guys are active in this front. You can't even get to the backside for their speed.
Loss of 3, so 3rd down and 9 after the sack by Gary. Bell now comes in to help off the play fake. Martinez in trouble. Has to unload. Thrown behind his receiver, but the adjustment by Stanley Morgan. Morgan will drag Wolverines inside the 45 to the 43. Brandon Watson hauled him down, and there you see an illustration of the ad-lib job Martinez can do.
Tyreek Kendall, number 23, was back there again, but the speed was coming, the creative pressure from the backside. Again, Don Brown will bring it. They've got to identify it up front. But if you're elusive, like Martinez looks like he is 100%, you can avoid that pressure.
Pickup of 32. 1st and 10, Nebraska.
Nice. Oh, he
tipped into the air. Could it be? Yes, it is. Picked off. It's Josh Martellus. Martellus had the pick 6 a week ago to put the game away, really, late in the first half against SMU. And off the tip drill, he had a man wide open for a touchdown here, Spencer.
Well, yesterday Don told us, he says, I want our guys on this side of the ball to be extremely athletic. But again, if that ball is not tipped, that's a sure touchdown, Timmy. Yep. An opportunity for this team to do something. Spillman was wide open on that back end.
Lawrence Marshall, 93, tipped it, the senior from Southfield, Michigan. So the defensive front, Spencer, we heard from. Winovich on the first play. Gary with the tackle for loss. And then Marshall up front. And that setup for Don Brown gets the tip. And Martellus with the pick. Teron Higdon is back after the ailment cost him play last week in the matchup with SMU.
Plenty of time.
Higdon ahead to the 40, wrapped up at the 43-yard line. That's Gifford making the tackle, number 12 for Nebraska.
Tim, here's the look we were talking about. Who's open outside? You can see the little short route set up here on the little bubble screen. That facilitates the opportunity. But for that tip right there, you got a wide open receiver right there in the middle of the field for an opportunity.
Oh, not only an opportunity, a touchdown. That's 6. Absolutely was he wide open. Higdon remains the setback. A quick burst and a big play. Ushered out of bounds, shy of the 10, 47 yards. Dedrick Young, number 5, taking him out of bounds.
Timmy, when you look at all of the bodies that are able to affect this play, I'm looking at what's happening here on this inside. You got a couple of guys. Eric Lee Jr., number 6, is in his hip pocket. I was looking at the angles, and we asked Coach Chen just yesterday, were his guys fitting them up nicely? The run fits are going to be so important against this front. They've got to do a better job of fitting them up on the defensive side.
Eric Shenander, known as Coach Chen's the defensive coordinator for Nebraska, has seen them play well, particularly in rushing the passer, but they have been gouged in the run game from time to time. You know, this is what Michigan wants to do. Feed and fan Higdon, and if not him, the youngster True Wilson, the former walk-on. Evans is banged up. He's got a thigh problem, and he played the lion's share of carries last week. Muhammad Berry, number 7, making the tackle there after a gain of 3.
No surprises from either one of us that Jim Harbaugh is going with this run game to establish this. The turnover obviously made that possible. When you can play with the early lead, expect him to stay with run first and then set up the pass.
Call it a gain of 2. Now Ben Mason, who's an H-back, tight end, fullback commodity, the lone setback as they go power. Mason.
Wow, look him push that back.
Well, he can get a first down without the touchdown, remember. They were just outside the 10-yard line. Young hauls him down. Mason had a touchdown carry last week against SMU.
Yeah, big 76, Juwan Bushell-Beatty playing that right tackle position. Just watch those guys up front. They're going to be the key to what this Michigan front needs to be able to accomplish against this. I'm not going to call them less inspired because they're giving 100%. But there's some challenges in that stop unit on the defensive side for Nebraska.
Remember, they can get a first down without the touchdown. 3rd and 2 from the 3. McCune is in motion, one of the tight ends, and again, power left side. Mason! No signal. He's shy, but he should have the first down.
Yeah, he's got the first down, and again, one of the things Nebraska has got to be careful of is these unbalanced looks when they put 2 tight ends to one side and run away from it. Conventional wisdom tells you when you have 2 tight ends to the side.
Officials timeout for an injured player.
2 tight ends to one side determines the strength of the formation, and if you're counting up run fits, you can get lost in that as we look at a downed Nebraska Cornhusker in the end zone.
And that's Stoltenberg, one of the leaders.
They can't afford to lose him.
Nick Stoltenberg, number 44, one of the black shirts for this team. They have now announced some of them, and listen, this is a team that's still, you know, in progress, but he's one of the veterans that they really count on. Last week against Troy, he had a sack.
Tim, he's so important because he plays what we call a zero technique, or the nose tackle. Remember, there's no one to either side of him. They're expecting him to control 2 gaps. That's the only way Coach Frost can get this defense playing at a level where they can get a numbers advantage. Give him the responsibility for 2 gaps so that they can free up other people and put them around the line of scrimmage. If he goes down, they're compromised defensively.
You see the number in the red zone. It's very good for this Michigan team. Touchdown percentage also quite high, above 60%. Out of the eye. Higdon dots it. Mason up front and in. Power touchdown Wolverines.
Prior to that last play, they had success against an unbalanced look, running away from it. They came right back to it. If it ain't broke, don't need to fix it. You just watch the line do it. I'm going to count these guys up here. Those are tight ends, okay? Those last 2 on the end are tackle and tight end, but there are 4 guys to that side. And the great push up front, that's a big difference right there. Sometimes when you count numbers, you miss a guy. Just got manhandled on that play.
6 of 6 a week ago for Michigan. It all began with the tip drill. Lawrence Marshall, 93, the big fella, got the mid up there. Led to the Martellus interception. And what might have been 6 for the road-standing Cornhuskers, they see go the other way with the big fullback. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Dave & Buster's. Eat, drink, play, and watch sports. Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman, Ollie Saunders with you. The Wolverines off yet another turnover committed by Nebraska. They're now -5 for the year in that category. Have a 7-0 lead as they convert it. Spielman is back deep. Jake Moody will once again boot it away, the freshman from Northville, Michigan. And again, Spielman takes the fair catch. Which again, the new rule being what it is, you can take the fair catch anywhere and move it right up. As you look at our keys to the game, the Lincoln keys. Spencer T, take it away.
Timmy, it's really all about Martinez's legs. Again, he looks like he's 100%. No problem planting on that foot. Would have been a sure touchdown catch. And then Michigan have got to protect Patterson on the other side. That's really the key for both these ball clubs. If they can protect their signal callers, each one of them have a chance to put up a lot of points today.
Well, the takeaway for Nebraska, even after the turnover, which leads to a quick touchdown, must be we made a big play and then we let one get away with the tip drill. We'll see what happens here. Red Bell wrapped up again at the line of scrimmage. Lawrence Marshall. This is a team, Nebraska, with a collection of backs. Maurice Washington, a freshman, probably the most gifted.
Lead the game for one play. His helmet came off during play. Second down.
Michael Drumfor had to leave for a moment. Greg Bell is the feature back right now, junior from Chula Vista, California.
A lot of great players have come out of Chula Vista over the years. Zigbu will show up there as well.
Yep.
Divine Zigbu, number 22. They've got depth at that position.
2nd and 9, Martinez.
Nice, got to get a hit around.
He didn't. Red Bell was a little bit late to turn on that one. And it's 3rd down and 9 coming up.
Timmy, so many ways you can affect the quarterback without getting a hand on him. Just the mere presence of pressure makes Martinez get this ball away. It looks like it had a string on the end of that ball and it just died right before Bell was able to get turned around. It's all about execution in the early sets.
You're right. Bell was a little bit late to turn on that, though. Had he been on time, even with the pass a bit behind him, he would have gathered it with a little bit of room to work with. Pressure off the edge and down goes Martinez. And it's the Viper for this half. Jordan Glasgow, the senior from Aurora, Illinois, in for Kalik Hudson, who's sitting the first half because of targeting a week ago.
Cleek is usually in that position, but again, number 29, who actually blitzed a couple of plays ago, just came up short, unabated to the quarterback. He's got help opposite of him, and Chase Winovich on the other side didn't need it. Man, that is what you got to look forward to when you see a Don Brown defense coming after you. Man, you got to account for the numbers because they're coming everywhere.
Caleb Lightbourne will punt it away. That's the 8th Michigan sack of the year. Fair catch called for, and another mistake made by Nebraska. Well, that will give even better field position to the Wolverines as Jason Woodyard in the special teams, one of the wide receivers that you may see, ran right into him after a 47-yard punt. And the penalty flag came down.
Kick catch interference. Number 17 of the kicking team. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
John O'Neill is our referee today. Well, it's been a season full of mistakes. When you're trying to change the culture, it can be difficult. Frosty knows that. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Samsung QLED TV. I touched on 97, and I mentioned at the top the kind of game today that we all grew up on. I realized they weren't in the Big Ten until recently, but during the break, Lloyd Carr, who was the coach of that team in 97, Charles Woodson, a new inductee to the College Football Hall of Fame, in to be honored today in front of the 106,000 strong. But the history of the two programs, amazingly similar and dominating, just as Higdon is in the ground game. Look at him go! All the way! It is! Touchdown!
he was running behind the big left tackle, John Runyon, Ben Bredson on that far side, 75 and 74 respectively. Look at these guys too. The blocking on this left side, it just looks like a power pistol kind of formation without the back in the back. He comes across the formation, gets up vertical, and then put both defenders in his hip pocket. Got to get after him, guys. That's just want to right there. Oh, that's good football.
I'll also say this, Spencer. You touched on it in the film room meeting that we had. Poor angles taken by the secondary there by Nebraska. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Well, we're analysts. I say what I see. And again, poor angles are indicative of a lot of things, Tim. And we can unpack that as we go along. But there's a reason why this Nebraska defense is struggling the way that they are. It's not Scott Frost's fault. It's a cultural deal.
Higdon, 100 total yards today. 3 carries, 93 yards, and a touchdown. Oh, and he caught one, too. Ron Higdon has had quite a day, a career high, by the way, for him when you think of yards total, receiving yards. Just under 100 officially. And when you're able to gouge a team like that on the ground, maybe it is a little bit easier to say, well, we'll let Shea Patterson wing it a little bit later on, huh?
Well, you give him an interception and then a penalty on the ensuing possession. That certainly helps as well. Never making excuses, Tim, but that's exactly why they're up.
Spielman is back deep off of the leg of Moody, and he'll take the knee and the touchback. Let's go back to the touchdown, Spencer.
Yeah, no man's an island, Timmy. The bottom line is this. Donovan Peoples-Jones, his eyes is peeking to the inside, and you can see him working inside. He just nails the would-be defender on that and the speed on the outside to get up the field. It's a tremendous job of helping from the pencil neck wide receivers to help their running back and the strength to finish off the play, keeping that right hand free even though he didn't use it, just to lower that shoulder to keep him off of those last couple of feet.
He took Aaron Williams right out of the play, the safety. And then you saw the other safety taking that poor angle that you were discussing a bit earlier. Now, it's early to say a must drive, but given the psyche of this game, and for Martinez, 5 bullets in the Big Ten for the first time, they need success right here. And there's Stanley Morgan, who had the big catch in the opening drive. A negligible gain in front of Jordan Glasgow, the Viper, who was playing in essence because Hudson was guilty of a really controversial targeting penalty in that game against SMU. We'll see him in the second half.
And that position is so critical. The Viper position, Trebill Peppers made it so famous. Not very many of him walking around today, but they've got a reasonable facsimile in this year's version.
This is where Martinez is at his best when he throws on the run. You mentioned Ozigbo. Devine, number 22, makes that catch in the arms of Devin Bush, the middle linebacker, junior from Pembroke Pines, Florida.
Devin's he's a leader on that defensive unit. They're lining up quick, trying to go tempo.
3rd and 3. Martinez in trouble. Well, he rolled right into Rashawn Gary.
Rashawn Gary came from that outside. I mean, it's just tremendous the way that they are able to beat you. You can see the pressure coming from outside here. Look at the vision in his eyes to be able to see and reach and not get hooked. His eyeballs are focused where they need to be. Great eye discipline to understand the flow is coming your way and to come off of it. Just tremendous leverage. This defensive unit is coached extremely well.
Michigan lost in their opener against Notre Dame. They've improved since. And some pressure there on the punter, Lightbourne. They'll let this one bound inside the 40, gets a Nebraska roll to the 34. Huskers in desperate need of a stop, and that means the ground game. Karan Higdon has been running roughshod, and the turnover problem continues to beset this young Nebraska team. 97, it was a national championship for both Nebraska and Michigan, the Bowl Coalition era. The Big Ten champions, Nebraska the Big 12. They won the Rose Bowl to the Wolverines, the Orange Bowl for Nebraska. The AP national title going to Michigan, and the Coaches Bowl, part of the Bowl Coalition, went to Nebraska in the greatest game that never was, as Holly documented at the top of the show. Michigan 1st and 10 with a 2-touchdown lead from the 35. This is a high percentage play, is it not? Going to Sean McCune, the tight end. You'll see a lot of him and Zach Gentry, who had 5 catches from Shea Patterson last week.
Yeah, when you have success in the throw game, particularly on the opposite side, everybody gets their ears up, waiting for something to come that direction, and then you come back with the tight end away. Play action. Great successful play for Jim Harbaugh. It's working. He's mixing it up nicely. Set up by the run.
15 yards on that play, and it's 1st and 10. Just shy of midfield. Higdon on the stretch play, in trouble this time. They wrap him up. Let's get into Los Angeles now for a Dave & Buster's game break. Here's Greg Wolf.
Tim, thanks. We go to Memorial Stadium. Battle of unbeatens in the SEC between number 2 Georgia and Missouri. Drew Lock finds Albert Okuebunami, gets stripped by Tyson Campbell. Look at this effort. Picks it up, goes 64 yards for the touchdown. Georgia leads Missouri 7-0 first quarter. Tim, Spencer, back to you.
One of the few teams many believe could challenge Georgia to some extent. Right now they find themselves after that turnover in a bit of trouble against the Dogs. Here's Amari Samuels, number 23 in the game for the first time. He's ahead to the 47, well defensed by Mohamed Barry, number 7, who's adapted to a leadership role, says Eric Shenander, Coach Chen's.
Well, they need a lot of leadership on that side. You know, you can see again, this is first of all a great opportunity, even though, despite the horse collar there. But you put your name, possibility, when you put your hand on that nameplate, they'll call that from time to time. He got away with one there.
Well, I think he pulled off actually late. He was smart to get his hand out of there as fast as he could. I thought it was a good no call.
Nice inside blitz here.
Yeah. Bingo! There's the man, Zach Gentry, right on cue. A first down, Michigan, as Bob Efer used to say here.
You talk about a double-A gut pressure package. Again, Nebraska came with a version of their own, but Shea stands in the pocket tall and delivers. The pressure's going to come from depth here inside, but watch the quarterback on the game and the twist and the deal. He stands in there, sees his tight end, eyes him, delivers one on the strike, and then watch the eyes flash and comes back the opposite direction. The hit, the spike that he stands tall. Tremendous job by Shea.
It was Trey Neal coming, the safety, on the blitz. Got there just a little late. Graduate senior from UCF. Came over with Frost and his staff. As you see, Karan Higdon stopped in his tracks by Barry again. They have lost a yard on that play, so it's 2nd down and 11 coming up.
You know, sometimes you see flashes as Scott Frost looks on of good defensive play when they're playing in alignment, but it is a lack of leadership overall, Tim, and in our meetings, without saying as much, that's what I was able to surmise. This defense has a lot of thermometers on that and not enough thermostats. You know, the thermometers are going to reflect the current situation, but the thermostat are going to set the temperature. They need more thermostats.
2nd down, 11. Higdon the setback. Right up the gut. Karan gets it to the 30-yard line and is pushed back. You know, prior to this game, Spencer, Eric Shenander's defense had only given up 94 yards rushing per game on average. So obviously that's been eclipsed by Higdon alone on a couple of runs. There he is, young defensive mind that
he's
knows.
Talented.
Yeah, he's a very talented coach.
Very talented.
This entire staff at Nebraska came with their head coach. And in fact, Scott Frost asked them, are you with me? Because I need you. Otherwise, you know, I'm not going to go.
That unbalanced look again. They've been having success with it all day, Tim.
True Wilson. And you hear the true coming from the contingent. Antonio Reed rides him out of bounds. Another big play. Very similar look.
Timmy, look at the numbers here. They're running away from the numbers. It's opposite. This is the direction where there are fewer people. That's where they're going to run. Conventional wisdom says you're going to run that direction. They go opposite. That's how they scored their touchdown early from inside. Running away from the numbers. Man on man. Just a nice inside jump move. The bounce outside by Wilson. Tremendous feet. And then playing with leverage, just running right by those Cornhuskers. Chenander, hey, I'll take that. Yeah. Big fella.
Mason the setback. Wide open, untouched, touchdown. His 3rd of the year, his 2nd of the day.
This is just man blocking up front. Again, 2 tights working here and outside. That's where the pressure's coming. Even though you feel those gaps with bodies, it's just really about being physical and running exactly where the white shirts are not.
Well, they're being blown off the line right now. And it's that similar look that you were talking about as you see the extra point hooked and no good for Nordine. Mason, one of a bevy of fullback, tight end, H-back types. He is living it up now. The Wolverines by 20. 20-0 our score. If you're a bit surprised, so are we. But a 14-point swing on the opening series for Nebraska. A touchdown wide open was tipped into the air by Lawrence Marshall, picked by Martellus, and since then Michigan has just been throwing around the Nebraska front and running roughshod with Karan Higdon, True Wilson now, and inside the red zone they've gone to their big fullback Mason. Spielman will take it with a fair catch at the 10 and move it up. And with more on how Nebraska's reacting, here's Holland.
Yeah, to the leader of Nebraska's offense, Stanley Morgan, was fired up after that last drive. He got in the faces of his teammates and said, "You sit down, let's get this right." Demi's half trying to calm them down and half trying to motivate them. Not an easy job.
No, not at all. And this is a young man on the precipice of getting to 1,000 yards. Would be the first to do that as a receiver. Now that's going back some ways. You think about some of the all-time great receivers in the history of Nebraska football. On the Bolitnikoff preseason watch list, 986 receiving yards coming into today's game. Maurice Washington is in the backfield. And look at that defensive recognition. How about that? Bush making the play. That's just coaching. Maurice Washington coming out. Devin Bush read his key and made the play.
Well, he's going to read it the whole way, Tim. You got pressure coming from here, but this guy right here is the one who's going to come from depth. He drops and comes back, and he sees the pressure, reads it, and reacts. Drives his right shoulder up through the ball carrier. That's fundamental football play at its finest.
Down Brown's defenses are traditionally top 5. And they're getting better in terms of stopping big plays this year. Martinez in a world of hurt again. Has to let it fly off his back foot. Very fortunate not being sacked inside the 5 by Winovich and Glasgow.
No foul for intentional grounding. Quarterback was out in the tackle box and the ball went beyond the line of scrimmage. Third down.
Here's Glasgow again playing that position we talked about. Glasgow, the Viper, decides to get the quarterback instead. Great decision because he had help on the other side. Brought the quarterback out of one of his shoes. I mean, that's pressure right there. You know, they say in the hood, pressure make a pipe bust, man. And he almost did on that play.
Don Brown made no bones about the fact that he felt Glasgow could be very effective today. Not maybe at the level of Khalil Hudson, but he trusted him. And you can see why. Martinez. Here he is with his feet. And he's got outstanding legs that can get to the chains and move it ahead for a first down. People might be concerned as to whether you want to stay with him when you're getting knocked around the way he is. This is why you keep him in the game right here.
Yeah, the ability to elude and then assist the offensive lineman with those moves, and then the speed to outrun people to move the chains. Fabulous.
First down from the 36. That's the second first down for Nebraska. The other on the pass to Spielman in that opening drive for 32 yards. Aiden Hutchison, 97, with the tackle of Maurice Washington after a negligible gain on first down.
And one thing the Nebraska running backs have got to do a better job that we've seen Michigan do is to run through those arm tackles. And it's about being physical, running with pad level and intentionality. They're going to need it.
Washington in motion. Now sets up in the backfield. Martinez with the option into the boundary to him. The defense is so quick. Hard to go wide against this group. Josh Ross, number 12, who can float both inside as well as out. He's practiced both the Mike and the Will linebacking position for Don Brown. And there he is. Yep. One of the truly great coaches in the game today by way of the Northeast, where he got his start, even did some time in baseball.
I love chopping it up, talking football. He showed me how to cover a bunt formation yesterday. That's good stuff, man.
Third down and 8. Martinez unloads it high and over the head of J.T. Spielman. So it'll be a punt formation, but they did at least get some field position with which to work for the punt coming up.
Yeah, partner, Lavert Hill was trying to cover him there. And a great job, but you got to continue on your route and trust the sideline. You know, when you come in inside the numbers and you know you've got at least 10 yards to work with, expect that ball to be floated out there. Martinez is accurate enough. He's young, but he's an accurate quarterback. He's going to give you as much cushion as you can to adjust.
Michigan got awfully close to blocking the last punt for Lightbourne. He's on the Ray Guy list. He can boot it. Beautiful high spiral this time that Peoples-Jones will let fall, and it does inside the 15-yard line. Just getting started here with the Fox family of networks. Two huge games on Fox. TCU taking on in-state rival Texas, followed in prime time with Wisconsin battling Iowa in a Big Ten showdown. All of that coming your way on Fox.
Horned Frogs have owned Texas recently, 5-1 in their last 6 meetings. That game's in Austin, and of course the Horns coming off of a very important win against USC. As you look at our game summary here, Nebraska with only 30 yards, but what's misleading is that touchdown that was taken away off a turnover. Tip drill that would have been 6 for Nebraska turned into what was a game-changing play and Michigan's onslaught here in the first quarter. Play fake. Patterson unloads. Incomplete. Good coverage that time of Peoples-Jones by DiCaprio Boodle, number 23, the sophomore from Miami.
He's only 5'10", 180, but you saw him climb the ladder there, showing you some of that 40-inch vertical jump that he's got. A great job by Boodle of defending that play. Almost had a pick there, man. He went up and got at that one.
Shea, the transfer from Ole Miss, a much-traveled young man with a couple of years of eligibility after getting the release from the NCAA when leaving Ole Miss to be immediately eligible to play.
This is about athleticism here. Great job.
That's Grant Perry, 88, from Brother Rice High School, stopped by Antonio Reed.
Yeah, Antonio came down out of that strong safety position. This is why they call them strong safeties. When you finish at the point of attack, you got to deliver some weight. Get those hips down, run through those would-be blockers. Great job on the perimeter blocking. Nice fit them up. Well, helmet underneath the chin, but they're not intentional. That's good defense.
3rd down and 10 with Michigan backed up. This is, I know it's early, but a very important play for Nebraska. They need to get their offense some field position, and a stop here could really help them in terms of changing the momentum prior to the end of the first quarter.
Nice splits.
That ball was thrown low by Patterson, so incomplete. And it was Lamar Jackson in coverage of Peoples-Jones, but you're right, some pressure coming at Shea that time.
Eric Chenander, the defensive coordinator for Nebraska, taking his opportunities with him, dialed up and back. Why not come after him a little bit? He did, showing pressure off the edge. Jackson did a fantastic job. You know, he's going to come off the edge here. The pressure's coming. You can see it's a design screen type play or bubble screen underneath, but the pressure is just enough to make him rush that one.
That was the outside linebacker, Tyron Ferguson, the junior from New Orleans, with the heat. First stop of the game for the Cornhusker defense. Will Hart set to boot it away, and we've got a flag pre-snap.
Ball start. Offense number 43. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Well, that'll make it a little bit worse. Back him up further in the end zone. Jake McCurry that time was guilty. Reserve receiver for the Wolverines.
Please adjust the game clock to 12 seconds, please. Thank you.
Well, we may have found out if you were watching last night the Penn State-Illinois game, which looked like a trap game midway 3rd quarter.
Oh, yeah.
Football's it's a long 60 minutes.
Illini was moving the ball on the ground, man.
But Penn State, I think, more than answered.
Yeah, they did.
In the second half. Tyson Lindsey is back deep. Will he take it off the bounce? Oh, boy.
Wow.
And look
What a
at
mistake.
Amber Thomas. How about that? Touchdown, Michigan.
Timmy, decisions. Tyron Lindsey made the poorest choice. We've seen it before. It's been a reoccurring theme on this Nebraska special teams unit, making bad decisions.
The ball was muffed, recovered by the kicking team. The ball becomes dead at that point. 1st and 10 Michigan from the spot of recovery. Got a big deal. 1st down.
Yeah, remember on a muff, you cannot advance it. But you're right. The point here is to why even do that? Why field it in that position? You're going to have decent field position for the first time.
Yeah, and the outcome is not really what I'm concerned about in this case, was you can't advance it. It's the decision to attempt to. That tells me your head is not in the game. I mean, you take a snap, look down on a pretty decent punt. You know how much relative time you have to catch that ball on that second bounce. That's just a poor decision.
Jake McCurry, by the way, who was penalized on the prior play, is the guy that affected the fumble, or the muff in that case. And here's Patterson looping it.
Nice defense, boy. That's good defense.
It really was. Oliver Martin, the intended receiver, and DiCaprio Boodle with the play.
The first quarter.
We've come to the end of one, and for Nebraska, it's a merciful conclusion. Nothing has gone right, but for Michigan, boy, are they ready for Big Ten play. And how? At the Big House.
This is the University of Michigan.
Founded as a place of universal learning.
We wanted to study the world's problems.
And make a difference.
We said we were leaders, so we led.
Together, we could accomplish great feats.
Beyond what any one person could do.
We are Michigan.
And after 200 years, we can never forget why we lead.
To advance knowledge.
To serve the public.
To do good. That is our way forward.
Spencer Tillman, it's been all Michigan, and even when Nebraska's made some plays, they perhaps got away with them.
It's been a reoccurring theme, right? So whether it's special teams missing wide open receivers, although it was a great defensive deflection on the part of Michigan, but again, just the mistake that they made in trying to attempt to return that ball and just catch it and field it is just it's indicative of what the story has been for Nebraska all season long.
Misery can love company, and they've had plenty of that, and Karan Higdon has helped apply it for the Wolverines. Outstanding run. You know, we touched on Shea Patterson briefly and how mature he is, and Chase Winovich talked to us about it. This is a young man that was born in Toledo, stayed there till he was about 3 or 4 years old. Dad was in football, older brother was in football. They moved to the Mexico border, and he played at Hidalgo in Texas. Then his dad got a job in my hometown in Shreveport, Louisiana, played at Calvary Baptist for a couple of years, his sophomore and junior seasons, and then transferred to the IMG Academy down in Florida, and then to Ole Miss, and now here at Michigan. Much of his family, in fact, when he was a youngster, he used to come to games at Michigan. That pass intended for Gentry.
They're getting some shots, though, on Patterson, though. Eric Chenander just dialing up some pressure. He's done it on the last 2 series to affect the outcome of those series, and he has been consistent with his pressure packages.
In a lot of ways, we really haven't seen as much of him. As you might recall, Hugh Freeze at Ole Miss had to burn a red shirt on him because of injuries that occurred, and then, of course, the problems for that program got going, and eventually he was able to land the transfer from the NCAA. Here's Nordine to try from 50 yards away. Well, he's hit some big ones. Had a 55-yarder last season, so he atones for the missed extra point a moment ago. Toe meets leather, and the Wolverines are looking good in front of 106,000 strong from Rockford, Michigan. 23-0, and that's a very happy kicker, and I do mean happy. It's okay to enjoy yourself when you play this game, right, Spence?
Look at the Hayes. You know, kickers, no matter where you go, he didn't finish yet. They're a rare breed, man, a breed unto themselves.
I'm thinking after that extra point that he missed, that quick hook made him feel awfully proud, and why not?
We got a kicker from Michigan State, Greg Montgomery. There must be something about Michigan.
The state of, not just the school.
State of, not just Michigan, the state of.
Here's the return from Spielman. Ahead to the 12, or call it the 17-yard line, 15-yard return. Let's get a quick game break now from Greg Wolf in Los Angeles.
Tim, thanks. We go to College Park. Big Ten opener for Minnesota and Maryland. This is Ty Johnson. He seriously considered entering the NFL draft. Instead, returned for his senior season. Look at this. 81-yard touchdown run. Maryland, they're at Michigan next week. They lead Minnesota 14-3 second quarter. Tim, Spencer, back to you.
Terrapin's a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde so far.
And that's Tom Herman. They're pretty good, though.
Bell gets away from the first would-be tackler, Devin Bush. And Devin Gill wraps him up, number 36. Gain of only 2, 2nd down and 8. Michigan's defense giving ground grudgingly early in this game, and Martinez really needs some help from his skilled guys.
Here's that really dangerous teacup formation that Don and I were talking about. Let's see how they handle it.
What did you say? Yep. Tyjon Lindsey again with Martellus all over him.
Yeah, Martellus came from the free safety position to block that away. I mean, look, these guys are playing up so close to the line of scrimmage. It's just unbelievable. The close proximity and the right hand free. I mean, it's just like it's got a magnet on the back of his hand and the ball. They play with such technically sound approach to the game.
And
fantastic coach.
And yet it's a defense that is considered high risk, high reward, and yet they're amazingly consistent with it. Martinez staying strong in the pocket. Now it breaks down, and down he goes. Drumfor and Bush collaborate that time.
Yeah, Michael Drumfor, number 50, played in that left tackle position. He's the guy that is the heavy in the middle. He's had the most improvement of those guys up front. And Coach Brown was telling us yesterday in our time with him that he's most impressed with his success. Put on some nice reposition the weight that he gained, and he's a stronger, physical, more player.
Now, Nebraska's really been playing behind the 8 ball in field position. The one chance they had was the muff, of course, and Amber Thomas came away with the recovery of that muff. Peoples-Jones has it on the run and is stopped in his tracks immediately. 40-yard boot, and Taylor comes down to make the play. Did hit the kicker here.
Yeah, I mean, the official waved it off, though. I mean, he kind of looked at it, but sometimes the body language can tell you exactly what the situation is.
Yeah.
The guy keeps his head down. He's not quite sure. He doesn't want to look up.
Michigan's line play has been really the difference on both sides of the ball here, Spencer.
Well, yeah, it's just about playing, whether it's a 4-man front or 3-man front, deflecting the ball for a would-be touchdown that would have happened otherwise. The activeness, the speed on the edges, everybody playing sound. And again, Chase did a fantastic job when he was in the game. I left in. It's just outstanding all-around defensive play by this group.
Higdon the setback again. Play fake for Shea. Patterson finds his man Nico Collins.
Wow.
Talk about a receiver improving. It's this kid, sophomore from Birmingham, Alabama. 23 yards that time.
That ball was thrown on a dart, too. Again, gets press coverage. Man coverage, release inside, gets him in his hip pocket despite the tug on the jersey. Ball placed right over his shoulders where he could catch it. That's beautiful execution.
From the 36. Higdon remains the setback, and he'll take it off that left side. Right behind Bredesen and Runyon. And again, another look at that catch along the sidelines.
Hands, foot down, drag it if you need it. Don't need it, but I got it anyway. You talk about presence of mind and knowing where you are on the field, executing. That's a beautiful thing.
Well, that's a Sunday catch. That's a toe
really
tag drag catch right there.
Don't need it, but just in case, brother.
2nd down and 8.
Two tights.
You'll see that a lot from Michigan.
Yep. Power football right here, man.
Higdon. That time Nebraska stayed home. Hendrick Young, number 5, making the tackle. He's a big-time player for them up front.
That's a great response, though, to that 22 package of the personnel, the two tight personnel. You know, a lot of popping going on there. You know, ball security is really what it's about. This ball kind of a little bit indifferent. The quarterback at the mesh point, not quite sure where to pull it out. Got to be more decisive. If you're going to leave it in there, let go of it. Let that back have it.
From the 31, 3rd down and 5. Patterson quick out and stop for Donovan Peoples-Jones, and another 1st down. Boodle ushered him out.
Look at Higdon, though. The pass protection is really unbelievable. You love it because these backs aren't supposed to be the guys that come across. Actually comes across the formation. Still does a nice job of getting in the face of the guy. Just solid, sound protection by a back that's around 215, 210 against a 260-pound perimeter defender.
Wilson. True Wilson, amazing story here. Stopped by Young. This is a youngster that had a dad in the military that wanted to make sure he was equitable to all his kids. Said, I'll take care of your first couple of years. The young man walks on. And then after that occurred, he took on the challenge of walking on and Coach Harbaugh granted him a scholarship, and it came at just the right time for this young man. And he has been embraced by this Michigan program in more ways than one. 2nd and 7. Play fake. This is where Patterson's at his best. Overshoots his man that time, Oliver Martin. But when you get Shea Patterson on the run, I think that's where he's most effective.
Yeah, but that's the great defense of picking up the tight end, coming away. They burned him, did Nebraska, on a couple of times. But you got to make the throw on the move. That's one of the things that he does well. Yeah, if it touches your hand, you're supposed to make it. But it was defended extremely well by Nebraska.
I think Shea would tap himself and say, my bad, after that one. He let him just a bit, but you're right. 3rd down and 7 here. Peoples-Jones at the bottom of your screen. He's looking that way. Nice catch in traffic by Zach Gentry, but wrapped up immediately. Superb work by Trey Neal, who's got to be the leader of this team. He was on an undefeated squad at UCF a year ago. 4th and 1 coming.
Trey did a fantastic job of closing. Like you said, he understands the way things were done at UCF. He comes over, tries to be the shepherd back there and acclimate these guys to the way things were done and are done here at Nebraska now.
They went on short yardage a lot against SMU and failed a week ago. We'll see how they handle this. Big on big. Couple of tight ends, and Higdon dots the I. Well, he ran right into the safety, Aaron Williams, and bowled him over.
Aaron Williams is one of the big, strong guys on the back end that they're hoping for at that strong safety position. But, boy, he just got steamboated here. Got a big fullback in there as well. When those guys get the roaring and coming in there with the lead blocker, man, Higdon says, oh, I'm going to win that battle. Low man is supposed to win, but he's defying physics on that play.
5 of 8 on 4th down conversions this year for Michigan. Mason has come back into the game, the lone setback. Twin tight end look again. But he has been outstanding, the go-to guy when they've gotten inside the 10-yard line, hasn't he?
Love the way Cesar Ruiz, the center, off center. Very rarely will you see them pull guards or pull centers, but if you're athletic enough and you feel like you can do it, Jim Harbaugh is going to get the most out of his offensive lineman. That's just a brilliantly designed play. Pulling the center, turning him into a moving guard. I love that.
Ruiz was one of the guys who played a role in Shea Patterson coming. He was the center at the IMG Academy when Shea Patterson was there, so they had knowledge of one another. Patterson, wide open, touchdown, Gentry.
Trey Neal was defending back there, and again, this is a size and hand advantage. Number 1 tight end does a nice job of creating separation, putting that right hand down. And Gentry, he's the guy that we talked about at the top of the show. A couple of assets that Patterson has at its disposal. That's one of them. It's a nice play.
Neal tried to tackle him and couldn't. He did. Nordine with the extra point.
It's a physical mismatch, Tim.
Yeah, he bounced off of him, lost his balance, and then tried to tackle him. He would have taken the interference in a heartbeat. It's 30-0. There you see the scoring drive. 10 plays, 59 yards, 4:28 off the clock, and Gentry with his first touchdown catch of the season. And Shea's looking for love. Come on, give me mine. I'm ready for no.
He's looking for love at all the wrong places. Oh, see you.
Oh, he taps himself, and that brought a smile from Shea.
Gentry, not much of a gentleman.
No, 7th touchdown pass of the year for Patterson, who understood, and I think it's important to note, Spencer, when he came to Michigan, that he needed to learn how to play from under center. And there's been a lot of conversation, obviously, about his use, and you brought it up. Matt Leinart brought it up last night at halftime of the Penn State game. And I think that this is part of the training method for the next level for him. Spielman is back deep, and again, the fair catch taken. And let's get a game break on the Irish, who delivered the only blow to Michigan's season thus far. Let's go back to Los Angeles for this game break.
Yeah, Tim, that was in the season opener for both those teams today. The Irish at Wake Forest, Ian Book getting his second career start at quarterback. He seems to have sparked that offense on 4th and 1. 3-yard touchdown to Brock Wright. The Irish lead Wake Forest 21-6, second quarter. Tim, Spencer, back to you.
All right, Greg, thank you. Been a long drought for the Demon Deacons against ranked opponents. Maurice Washington is in the backfield, and at this stage, the Huskers really need something good, or it's going to be one whale of a halftime for them mentally. Martinez under duress again, lets it fly incomplete. Heck of a throw to Tyjon Lindsey, and was catchable.
Well, Lindsey was running a very, very deep crossing route. That's a very complex play to hope to play, but when you're playing a single high safety look, and there's a lot of water to cover for the middle defender. Maybe that's what they're thinking in the design of the play, but man, with so many base bodies around that ball, that's a tough decision.
Yeah, you got to make that grab. That went right through both hands, and it was a whale of a throw.
That was a great throw.
Off balance. You can see the brilliance in this young man. And he is taking on one of the best defenses in the country. 2nd and 10. And pre-snap flag should be a false start.
Delay of game.
Oh, delay of game.
5-yard penalty, still second down.
A little late with that one.
And that's just another mistake. Again, they had the right play dialed up away from pressure coming off the left side, and just, again, continuing to shoot themselves in the foot with mistakes.
Troy Walters is the man upstairs for Scott Frost. But penalties.
Yeah, players play the game, Tim. The coaches do what they do during this regular week, but the players have to play.
10 penalties last week. Blitz again. Martinez in a world of hurt. Winovich takes him down.
And Joshua Ross is the guy that came from that middle linebacker position in an inside scissor stunt. And that pressure came right up the gut. And it's going to eventually come through here. You'll see him. There he is, number 12. Forces Martinez to go the opposite direction. Chases in close toe right behind him, man, and just brought him down. Team tackle. Look at the eyes. Coming around, scraping off that defender. Never saw him coming until the last minute. Not even the fleet of foot Martinez could get away from that.
Well, that's the 4th sack. 3rd and 27, and you begin to wonder, this deluge coming from the Michigan defense, how much longer can you afford to keep Martinez out there?
Same position, different player. Devin Bush coming from that middle position. The previous play, it was Joshua Ross that came in there, and you'd think they'd get it figured out. Again, they're just swapping personnel. The pressure's coming from the same place. Got to identify the protection, protect your quarterback, block him up.
You're going to find out a lot about the heart of this young man as he continues to take body blow after body blow. Caleb Lightbourne will have to punt it away again. Donovan Peoples-Jones back deep. 72 yards now on 8 sacks or tackles for losses in this game. Minus 72 for Nebraska. Peoples-Jones at midfield. He's got incredible speed and athleticism. Knocked out inside the 35 at the 33. He's a brilliant young man, too, in the classroom. The consummate Michigan talent. 46-yard boot, an 18-yard return.
He wants to be a doctor eventually. I mean, he's got all kind of ability and skills.
Orthopedic surgeon.
Yep.
On the defensive ends for the Wolverines, we know how good they are. Winovich on one side, Rashawn Gary on the other.
And it's just been like chum. Don Brown dialing it up when they're backed up pressure. Again, you saw him coming off the edge early and often. Chase Winovich one time, and then Bush and company coming from the middle linebacker position. It was frequent, it was consistent, and it was havoc wreaked every time. They lead college football in producing havoc.
From the 34, first down. Hit down. You could take a Mack truck. I mean, a double wide through that hole. 25 yards and another first down for Higdon. Gifford and Young running and chasing at linebacker to haul him down.
There's something to be said for tradition and great vision and eye running. What looked like old Hart, the old former Michigan running back, running through there, didn't he? Tremendous job of vision and seeing and running away from the pressure.
Want to break out Billy Taylor or Butch Woolfolk? You want to go that far back?
Butch Woolfolk, that's a great call. I played with Butch in Houston. Michael Hart was a good one.
Yes, he was. 11 carries, 128 now for Karan Higdon. He'll tone it again. Inside the 5 and down to the 1. Double deuce is getting it done on the ground right now. Antonio Reed with the saving tackle here.
Well, beautiful pull by this guy right here. He's in the flex position. He comes, pulls along with the off guard, and just double teams the guy. Gets up there, allowed Higdon to get there. Even with the bad exchange, he is able to circumvent that and then get through there and get nice blocking by his tight end and his guard. Well, that's great execution. Well, skill and effort overcomes mistakes like that.
Mason comes back in, the fullback in front of Higdon now on second down at the 1. Bounces off one. Gets his way into the end zone. His 3rd touchdown of the day.
Well, that look says, and that little meeting right there says it all. Trey Dale, one of the leaders in the team, and Gifford, hands on the hips, body language tells you. No answers for the men in Mays. Make sure Fielding Yost didn't coaching these guys in a point a minute, man.
I can think now of Bo Schembechler, how proud he must be to see that man who played for him from 82 to 86 go back to the core values. Power football. Take it inside. Team. The team. The team. The pageantry. Special ops were on hand, and they were dialed in, weren't they? Take a look at this, will you, from their perspective?
He landed right on the end.
Right on the 50.
Wow.
Got this crowd juiced, and their Wolverines have done the rest. Minnesota, by the way, in case you were wondering, excuse me, Michigan, beat Rutgers 78-0 in 2016. Again, it's early for those kinds of histrionics, but you begin to wonder.
I got a couple of Fielding Yost notes coming along the way.
A point and a half a minute
That's
routine.
Right.
Maurice Washington brings it back. It's taken out of bounds shy of the 20-yard line, and now they're losing their cool.
Oh, yeah.
No reason for that. That's the kind of Bush League play you just don't see from Scott Frost coach teams.
And that points to the lack of discipline and some of the other issues that are problematic, and he's too classy to throw anybody under the bus.
After the play was over, unnecessary roughness. Number 31 on the kicking team. Half the distance from the end of the run. First down.
We have dueling numbers. We have
Correction,
dueling numbers.
receiving team.
That's Miller, 31. Reserve outside linebacker. There's just no reason for that. You're already down by a bundle, and you're making it look worse when that occurs. And that's the kind of thing that Scott Frost knows he has to clean up. Look at those miscues, the turnover margin. They dug themselves holes in 2 games they very easily might have won. In fact, the Colorado game, personal foul in the secondary would have gotten them the ball, and then Colorado in the very next play got a touchdown that went on to win it. But look at those penalties and turnovers. And it has not subsided yet in game number 3. Right away, Martinez deciding to take it himself.
It was a quality call too, Tim, because they had dumped out of that and no longer showing them pressure looks. They're trying to go fast. Never got the play. They're trying to speed up as they're doing right now, guys.
Cannell made the stop. He did get the first down. Behind Zipro, number 22, is the setback. Haven't been able to find really anyone in the passing game other than Stanley Morgan a couple of times. Not much time. They go reverse. Spielman. And Michigan at home for it. And a flag is also down in the Nebraska backfield.
Yeah, we got an interior lineman just mounted one of the defenders. And you just can't do that. You know, you get motion going away. You got a trick play on. You know you got to hold that block a little bit longer than normal.
Holding. Offense number 62. 10 yards from the previous spot. Repeat first down.
That's Cole Conrad, who's a senior.
Yeah, it's the center too. He's one of the sharpest guys that's out there. But Cole playing his center position right there. Again, he's got an off block. It's a very difficult block, a back block against. He knows the trick play is coming back his way. Can't let the guy get back there, so he mounted him to minimize the damage.
1st and 20. Little wide receiver screen, and they're all over it.
None of it's working, Tim.
No.
I mean, that was going to be part of our takes early on, was about the quick game and how do you do it? Well, the only place that Michigan is showing any kind of air or cushion between the defenders is in that slot. So you got maybe a 7 to 10 yard cushion, but that isn't even working right now. Forget about trying to do the same thing on the edges on the perimeter when they're pressed in your face.
Well, Metellus is yet another example of guys that are so prepared. And it's as if they know what's coming out of the Nebraska playbook now.
Nice call. Good
Martinez play. That was a smart play. What an athletic play. Hutchinson tips it, and Martinez knows he's going to pick it if he doesn't knock it down.
Well, this is where advanced analytics come into play. We have a directional call. Everybody's stunning to the right side to get in the right lanes. They understand that it's a screen. But I'm telling you, if you're Don Brown, you're studying the tendencies of a team, the directions to the right, that put your defender in a position where he can get his hand up, knowing the full well the screen is coming that direction. I'm telling you, man, he's in the wheelhouse of this offense right now.
Well, the flag is down. He did catch it and then throw it down, and I think he didn't bat it. He caught it, and therein lies the reason, which could be a forward pass, second forward
foul
pass.
for an intentional grounding on the play.
Right.
The quarterback who threw the ball caught it and was still in the air when he threw it forward. It's a legal play, third down.
He was in the air. If he had been on the ground, it would have been a problem.
It would have been a second pass.
Yeah.
Right. But because he was in the air, he could let go of it.
That's
By the way, I saw 3 passes in a Texas Tech Houston game
Did you?
that got away from the officials. 3 forward passes on one play. You could question whether there was control or not, and I think that may be what this discussion is about.
I still think it points to the headiness of the quarterback to understand.
Yeah.
Correction. The second pass was a forward pass. There were 2 forward passes thrown during the down. The second pass is illegal. That pass was thrown in the end zone. Result of the play was a safety.
I got to give credit, Scott Alexander.
Wow.
Our statistician, a.k.a. content coordinator, was saying that same thing to me because he had passed it again. His body in the end zone.
But let's see.
It is under review.
Let's see if he was in the end zone, though, Tim.
Yeah, I thought he was. I thought his body was in the end zone as he lets it go right here. Well, that's the rule. And I got to credit my man Scott for that. He was
it's not going to be reversed because we won't have an angle from down that line. But I don't think he has control of it. Does that matter?
Well, it should, yes. Yeah.
If he didn't have control of it.
That's why it's under review.
Wow.
They got to check to make sure that it wasn't batted, it was thrown. And I think that's what Scott Frost is hoping to get a clarification on. It's not often we see something like that happen, but the bottom line, Hutchinson made such an athletic play, and the young man knew, Spencer, he knew he was going to have an interception for a touchdown. So he may have saved his team 4 points at the very least. Dean Blandino is back in Los Angeles. What do you see there, Dean?
Yeah, it's a really interesting play. I think what replay's looking at, one, did he control it and throw it forward, or did he just bat it? And then where was the pass thrown in relation to the goal line? Yeah, I didn't see enough to change it either.
Yeah, see, it did appear that he had control of it as opposed to just batting it down. But without the move, Spencer, it's a touchdown. He knows Hutchinson's going to catch that out of the air if he doesn't make some kind of play.
And that's the greater point I'm making. It just shows it's a heady move, smart move. Again, I'm not sure if he's intentionally trying to control it or not. But as the ruling is, it stands. You can't argue with it. It's not going to be overturned in this situation.
I presumed, as you did, that because he was in the air, not on the ground, it was not 2 forward passes. But I'm going to give Scott a lot of credit. He said, no. He actually caught the ball and passed it. That's 2 forward passes. Yeah, and if you do that in the end zone, then it necessitates a safety.
No, I think we're good.
I think we're in good shape there. Frost doesn't like it. Little has gone his way in the first half. This only, in a lot of ways, adds insult to injury. Right there. And the only way you're going to define whether he was or wasn't is with a camera down on the actual line. And that's not enough to turn it over. A bizarre play in what has been a most forgettable first half for Nebraska.
Mistakes have been pivotal, whether in special teams. And again, I won't rack that one up to necessarily a mistake by the quarterback because the alternate could have been even worse.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice return off of the free kick. Lavert Hill with a 21-yard return. We've got a marker down at the 32-yard line of Michigan.
Timmy, while they sort this out.
During the return, holding the 29 on the return team. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
Jordan Glasgow guilty of that. But at this stage, the Wolverines will take it. It's been a relatively penalty-free game. Officials, as they say, have let them play. And Michigan, the more physical team, has certainly been in command.
This is a character check for Nebraska. Again, everything not going their way, bad calls, the body language indicative of how this team is feeling, what their season has been like. This is how you're defined. The crisis doesn't make the team. It really exposes where they are. And the coaches are going to have something to work with as a result of it. Scott Frost said that it would get possibly worse before it got better.
On first down, they swing it out, little bubble screen to Nico Collins. Spun out of bounds by Caleb Taylor, number 4, the freshman from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Talking about that culture, here's Holly Saunders.
Yeah, Tim and Spence, to add to what you were talking about with Scott Frost and trying to change that culture, he told his team, if anyone doesn't want to stay on board this ride with us, let me know and get off of this ride. Champions make great decisions. Average teams don't make those decisions, and I don't care how long it takes. We're going to get it right. And what was it that he said, Spence, that you liked? One fine day doesn't make a summer. Makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. It's got to put them together. Greatest ability is dependability.
2nd and 5 from the 28. Look at that maneuver by Wilson. True just spinning off hit after hit. Running with a great deal of power, this young man, the former walk-on.
You know, Tim, to follow up on Holly's point, if you notice, Coach Frost understood what he was coming into this situation here. If you notice at his press conference when he took this job, there was no family there. His wife was not there. Kids were not there. That's very atypical. But when you're trying to turn around a program that has lost its muster, you want to protect all people involved because you know what it's going to be like. It's tough. Of the 22 coaches that are coaching their alma mater, he has the toughest job in my opinion.
Quick timeout.
Charge timeout, Michigan. They're first. This is a full media timeout.
A Michigan team that was only averaging about 84 yards per game rushing has more than doubled that in half number 1 in this early Big Ten blowout.
Coming up on the State Farm halftime, Georgia up to number 2 with a sneaky tough SEC East road test. 3 tight wins for 8th-ranked Notre Dame. Will the trend continue on Tobacco Road? And can Wisconsin bounce back at Iowa? Tim, Spencer, we'll see you at the break.
All right, Stoner, thank you. Scott Frost's team has been stunned in this first half after an opening drive that looked like it may bring them and very easily could have brought them a touchdown. A turnover turned everything upside down. Michigan, to their credit, has completely outplayed them in every phase of the game since. Drew Wilson inside the 40 to the 39. To that point, and you heard Holly talking about challenging the players. He knows where these guys are coming from. You got a lot of newcomers, true freshmen, transfers. He lost his backup because, well, Martinez was named the starting quarterback. Tristan Jebbia stayed. Who knows what their record might have been coming in. That pass is caught by McCune along the sidelines. But to that point, Spencer, you know, jobs come open because there are problems, and he knows that now.
Yeah, the process of sifting through who wants to stay and who wants to go, it's expensive, it's tough, it's very difficult, and it's painful. You know, you got 85 scholarships, you got limitations up and down. You just can't go find a guy off the street. This is college football.
This one's gonna sting though. Halftime may challenge Scott Frost's young career in ways that it hasn't been to this point as a head coach. Wilson barreling ahead for a couple, stopped by Hunus, number 3, the junior from Wichita, Kansas. You know, they've had nothing but success at UCF. That was one of the quickest turnarounds ever. And now suddenly they missed their first game because of the lightning display. They played 2 games they feel they let get away. And now they have just been blitzed by Don Brown's D. A little answer here from Muhammad Berry as he spins Shea Patterson to the turf.
Yeah, the right inside linebacker, again, not giving up. It just, that's one way to define whether or not your team is still in it on the defensive side of the ball. You can't halfway play defense. Pressure coming off the outside from depth. You can see he does a nice job of scraping, making a great play on the quarterback. Tim, there's an old expression that says there is nothing more difficult to take in hand, more uncertain in its success than to take the lead of a new order of things. And that's what the challenge is he's facing. As Machiavelli has said that, but he wasn't talking about football. When you're introducing something new, it's tough, man. Change is difficult.
Well, you saw that sack graphic there. 11 sacks after that one by Berry. They
30-second charge,
improved
timeout, Michigan.
In that area. Think about this team. All the coaching changes they've gone through, coordinators, head coaches. This is a new 3-4, one that's more aggressive, but one that's been absolutely bruised and battered by the Wolverines today. Quick reminder, on the State Farm Halftime Report, Rob, Nat, Robert, and Dave will have plenty to discuss, including that matchup between Wisconsin and Iowa. And I'm going to tell you, Spencer, based on our experience in Iowa a couple of weeks ago and what just happened to Wisconsin, the Hawkeyes at home, all they do is beat top 15 teams. That's going to be a tough one for Wisconsin to bounce back from. There's True Wilson with a beautiful play. This kid, he's just fun to watch. In every aspect, he gives you more than 100%.
Well, True Wilson, spin. He is the truth. Let me tell you, he's athletic. He's tough and more physical than what you would imagine. He's wearing that number 13, but there's nothing unlucky about this young man.
Yeah, he's the Xbox on
that thumb, man.
X button on Xbox. Yeah.
He's the spinner.
See, that's I learned that from my daughters and from my young producer.
Nice.
All those things. Got to get the X spot on the Xbox. See,
Timmy, you're the best, man.
4 decades in this business.
Culturally relevant.
4 decades in this business and still a work in progress. Timeout. 39-0 our score. One of the keys, I think, for Michigan moving forward, Spencer, they have mentioned 84 yards against top 10 teams in the last half dozen matchups they've had. They've only averaged 84 yards rushing against those opponents. Their offensive line has been at times suspect. Today is doing them a world of good before Jim Harbaugh sees that schedule of his get stronger within the league.
And I would just add, after this play, the way they're winning is going to bode well for them down the stretch.
Oh, yeah. They will jettison that early loss to Notre Dame. You can get past that. Nico on the receiving end and complete. DiCaprio Boodle right there with him. And we've got time for one more play.
And the point I was going to make is that that play you just saw is indicative of what they have the capability of doing. I'd like to see them do more of that. The more that they can keep in their back pocket, that's going to bode well when they start to get to the thick of the conference schedule. Having a vertical passing threat and a running game like they have, it's amazing.
You know, I think they just decided on that particular sequence, it's bad enough. Let's not slow this game down anymore. That was pass interference. No ifs, buts about it. They got away with one there. And now Martinez can wing one before the end of the half if he so chooses. And
eyes off.
That was almost a pick six.
That's the end of the first half.
It's going to be a long halftime for the prodigal son that returned home. Scott Frost has quite a chore in front of him. Jim Harbaugh very happy at this stage. His team, Rob Stone, came in and said, hello, how do you do? Back to you.
I love you, Tim Brando, so much. So that's what Jim Harbaugh apparently said. Scott Frost, though, this week saying that this could get worse before it gets better. He is properly managing the messaging as the first half clearly showed. We welcome you to the State Farm FS1 College Football Halftime Show. Rob, Robert, Matt, Coach back here with you. In the pregame, Robert here hit the importance of the Wolverine rushing attack today. As usual, you were spot on. Our halftime highlights, sponsored by State Farm, here to help offense go right, clearly display.
How do we establish attitude, Matt and Coach?
Throw the ball.
We run the ball. Karan Higdon back in that offense. Look at that acceleration right there. Clearly some poor tackling, bad angles by Nebraska. But Michigan came out and they wanted to establish the line of scrimmage. Look at this. Reestablishing the line of scrimmage. You got linemen 3-4 yards into the end zone. A running back walking into the end zone from the 5-yard line. This reminds me of the old Stanford days. Jim Harbaugh said back then, we're going to win with character and cruelty.
You love
How
that.
do you establish cruelty? You run it, Matt. You don't throw it.
Well, you can throw the ball every once in a while. Okay.
Not to be cruel.
And how do you establish the line of scrimmage? How about Don Brown in this defense? They did a great job. You knew the game plan going in, Coach. You have a true freshman quarterback, hobbled with a knee injury. What do? You attack the line of scrimmage and bring pressure. How about Michigan defense in the first half? 4 sacks, 7 tackles for loss. They gave up only 17 offensive yards, and they had 2 turnovers. That's how you start a game defensively. You know you have an advantage going into this football game. Play fundamentally sound defense. Now they're pitching a shutout.
Yeah, it's obviously you're disappointed. If you're Scott Frost, you're in there at halftime. Right now, we talked about earlier buying in, right? That's kind of the theme that everybody's not buying in. Well, now we're talking about just effort. I mean, forget about the scheme at this point. You know what I mean? Keep it basic. Get rid of the ball quick. I mean, try to eliminate the negative plays. And then I would emphasize, hey, guys, we're still committing penalties. We still had a big turnover on special teams. You know what I mean? So some of those things that have haunted them all year long, I mean, are showing up today. You got to eliminate those to give yourself any chance to have success.
Coach, do you bring Adrian Martinez out to play the second half, down 39-0 on the road at the Big
He needs to play as much as he can. Okay. I would. Unless it's a health problem, I would definitely play him. Now, I would go to a hurry-up offense. You know what I mean? Try to get a little tempo going so that, to slow down Michigan a little bit. But right now, you're evaluating effort. That's the main thing right now. Who's really going to buy in when we're getting hammered here on the road?
And he's probably going to be playing against some backups very soon, if not immediately.
Yeah.
-6 rushing yards for Nebraska at the half. The second-ranked Bulldogs, they have not been seriously threatened this year, outscoring the opposition 135-24. Little different story today so far in Missouri, and wins of 7, 8, and 5 points so far for Notre Dame, and they're in another tight one today on Tobacco Road. The highlights with Wake Forest coming up.
FS1 College Football is sponsored by Dave & Buster's. Eat, drink, play, and watch sports. All Wolverines, 39-0 here at the break. Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman, your hoof from Holly Saunders momentarily. Dave Wannstedt talked about it at halftime. He believes Adrian Martinez should come back out for the second half from a coaching perspective. Yet it was something we were discussing even during the first half. How much more can this young man absorb? He's already playing, frankly, on a knee and a half.
Well, the X factor, what we don't know is how healthy he truly is. If he's 100%, maybe I'm with Coach on that, you play him. But this could be an inflection point for this team. Is it a bailout or is it a tipping point? That's what we don't know from up in this booth, and we can't determine that.
Right.
But Coach has got his finger on the pulse of where this team is psychologically, and if they are bailing out on him, then you don't put your quarterback in jeopardy of that.
Ready for the kickoff to begin the second half, and Michigan will touch the ball first. Amber Thomas came away with that recovery of the muffed punt earlier.
And Tim, that's the difficult truth as we get the second half underway. These are young men who are defining themselves.
And Amber Thomas will bring it back. He runs into some trouble inside the 15-yard line where he's knocked down. And with more on that, because she had the conversation with Coach Frost, here's Holly.
Yeah, Tim, Coach Frost told Adrian that this is the worst it's going to get. He's going to keep him out this second half, tried to keep him healthy. He also added that this second half, they're going to find out who has character and heart and wants to play Nebraska football. We've been mentioning it's all part of the process, just trying to change this culture for Coach Frost, Tim.
Spencer, this is the time of a game, and thank you, Holly, that you really are coaching for the rest of your season in so many regards. This is not about the next 30 minutes here. It's about what lies ahead in the Big Ten.
And you're trying to assess who's all in, and that can be a difficult challenge.
Little pitch ahead to Grant Perry. Ahead for just a couple of yards. And it'll be second down.
Tim, you know we've had this conversation before. When you talk to the old hands like Bobby Bowden, there were a time when you used to ask kids, hey, look, run through that wall. And they'll tell you, which wall do you want me to hit? I'll go get it now. They ask you why now today. And that's the difficult truth about raising these Z's in this generation. Listen, they're great kids, but sometimes the commitment level is not what it is. Just ask Tom Herman at Texas if his challenge was as easy as he thought it would be. You know, Charlie Strong preceded him, talked often about the cultural challenges, and it's a very real thing.
Omari Samuels Stopped in his tracks that time. Carlos Davis with the big tackle. So watch the body language of this defense and offense, really. How hard are they really playing? Because when you've gone through as many changes as this team has, and particularly if you're an upperclassman, and this is the young man that came over from UCF, Trey Neal, who's trying to lead this young team with so many transfers and true freshmen. You know, it sometimes is difficult to say, all right, yeah, I'm going to buy in and make the commitment necessary. 3rd and 5. True Wilson is the setback out of the gun. Patterson shoots it out to Grant Perry, and the senior from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, with the first down. As you look at our first half stats, brought to you by Dave & Buster's. Look at that, -6 rushing yardage. And then the turnovers and penalties. Total yards, just a complete blowout.
Wow.
The flip side for Michigan, and you would not say at this stage that Nebraska is anywhere close to a top 15 type team. Michigan in games like this has been able to run and run well. But against the high caliber opponents, that has not been true. Trey Neal with the stop of Amari Samuel. So the question for Jim Harbaugh must be, how do we duplicate this when we take on the Wisconsins, the Ohio States, the Michigan States?
Well, one of the things he's doing is still continuing to coach. Look at this formation right here. It's kind of a tight bunch, using your tight end and flex with the off guard and tight end helping you. This is some creative interior blocking. So from Jim Harbaugh's standpoint, nothing is changing. He's experimenting, giving different looks as they make the heart of their schedule their future objective.
2nd down, a yard to go. Wow. Samuels.
Surprised they're not getting a clipping penalty.
Mohamed Berry with the tackle.
Timmy, the success early on was really about the unbalanced looks that they received. And I'm going to call unbalanced, including the center 1, 2, 3, 4 to a side as opposed to just 2 opposite sides. You would think that you'd run to the strength, but we're saying our men are stronger than yours on the weak side, and that's where we're coming. They didn't do it once, they did it twice. Again, another unbalanced look to that side, going away from the 4-man to the 2 side, just mano a mano, beating you every time.
Wilson.
That's good defense.
Yeah, stopped behind the line of scrimmage by Mohamed Berry, who has really had the best day of any Cornhusker on the defensive side of the ball.
Berry has been running and chasing, and again, when you see him cut through there and then chase the way that he does, he finds out where the run gap is, sorts it out, gets underneath there, and makes a negative play. Or it's great on defense. You can define kids that are bought in, because it's harder to play defense at a high level. Offense is more like controlled aggression, but you got to be unbridled when you play defense.
2nd and 13 now for Michigan with Gentry in motion. From Patterson. It was a little high, but I think he took his eyes off of the ball. He gets it to Grant Perry. So a decent ad-lib job to try to get somewhere close to the line of scrimmage. I think Shea just took his eyes off the ball here.
Yeah, as you see his eyes. I mean, look at his eyes. His eyes come back this direction here, right? He comes off the focus. That's one thing about it. When you're not under center, your eyes have got to stay and watching the path of that ball. If you don't, you're going to get an errant pass. So here's the takeaway, Tim. Not only must Nebraska continue to find who it is, not everybody runs well with the full cup of success. How will Michigan navigate the second half?
Well, a loss of 9, 3rd down and 21. Peoples-Jones up at the top of your screen. Patterson just lets it go. He saw some heat coming off of the corner and just let it go.
There's no foul for intentional grounding. Number 13 was in the vicinity. 4th down.
Yeah, so Jim Harbaugh's got to find the balance between dialing it back and not piling on, because there will come a time when this Nebraska team will be Nebraska again, and you won't want to forget that.
How much fun was it chatting with Pep Hamilton, his offensive mind, former NFL coach, about what it's like to try to establish an identity with an offense at Michigan. It was really eye-opening in so many respects. And I'll say this about Harbaugh. It may be his style of game, but no one gets more opportunities to hear the metrics, the analytics, and get as much help from his staff as he does. And he's got a large staff. Lindsey scampers out off the punt from Will Hart. We've got a penalty flag. 55 yards on the boot.
And Timmy, that was one of the reasons why, as we assess what's going on here.
During the kick, holding number 23 on the return team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. 1st down. Timeout.
Yet another mistake. And special teams. We will see the redshirt freshman walk-on Andrew Bunch when we come back. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Discover Card, the official credit card of the Big Ten Conference. Scott Frost, Jim Harbaugh, so cemented in the tradition of both of these programs. Both quarterbacks, both played for Hall of Famers. One Tom Osborne, the other Bo Schembechler. Now trying to guide their programs back to a position of status that they were accustomed to having. As you see, Andrew Bunch, actually listed as a sophomore. He did play. He was actually the third-team quarterback a year ago.
He took a shot too, Tim.
Yes, he did. And now he's like checking his knee.
He's checking his knee.
Timeout for an injured player.
Oh my! Devin Bush got him. This kid did not appear in a game a year ago.
Wow. Well, the hits just keep on coming, man.
Yeah. 3-year starter in high school.
You can see Devin Bush here. He's reading, reacting, and he comes back and puts the shot on him.
Timeout.
You know, that could be one of those. It doesn't look like it hits your knee, but it's like a high ankle sprain, and it affects everything in the lower leg up to the knee. Wow.
Just when you thought it couldn't get worse. Timeout. He may have to play now. Now what do? Bunch goes into the tent, and suddenly Martinez back in psychologically from Frost's point of view and his team, because Martinez was not going to play. Now what do?
Well, the preferred situation is you be reasonably close. That's not the case here, and then heroics ensue, and you come back. But if he can come in now, you have to wonder whether he could have come in the second half in the first place. And so that's one of the questions that will have to be answered. It's a tough spot that Coach Frost is in. The difficult truth is, hopefully, Michigan will dial back the pressure and will not have a problem on our hands for the future.
Rolling him out of the pocket, which is a wise choice given what's been happening today. And let's go through the timeline of this offseason at the quarterback position. The job was won, announced that he would start. Tristan Gebbia withdraws from school immediately, transfers to Oregon State. So he'll be in Corvallis next year. Then he's injured in the opener against Colorado, having lost the opportunity for reps against Akron in the game canceled because of lightning. And now suddenly, pressed into duty when really the coaching staff did not want him to take or absorb any more hits. There's Spielman being hammered by Khalil Hudson. And to make matters worse, the starting Viper is now in the game for Michigan.
Having had to sit out the first half and ejected the week prior.
I don't think it really hurt having Glasgow out there, did it?
He did a fine job. And again, I'm not so much of it. It wasn't a result of him as much as it was with the ineptness of Nebraska not being able to affect anything offensively of any substance.
Caleb Lightbourne is going to need the whirlpool after this one. A lot of punts for Caleb today. One of the more active in college football. High and tight to Peoples-Jones. He's got incredible speed. And there it is. There it is. And there he goes. He will beat them to the pylon. Touchdown.
So many missed tackles, Timmy, and this is a classic return. Peoples-Jones showing you he can affect the game, not just from his receiver position, but once he catches this ball, it's really about getting wide and getting width to allow everybody that funnel effect to happen. If you're covering, you've got to go to the point where he is. But then as you move away from it, the spin move again to finish it off. I mean, you can see the bodies for Nebraska. Guys tiring out. Neil there near the end, one of the stalwarts on the back end, showing you he's still engaged. But boy, they're bringing the hammer down in a big way.
Coming in, he was 5th nationally, 1st in the Big Ten, 320 punt return yards. Well, you can add 60 after he returns that 49-yarder. 7th Nebraska punt leads to a touchdown. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Ford, going further so you can.
Is that you coming into work, Tim?
That's the way I felt, actually. It was a long night.
That's on that M.
Yeah, the parachutist made his way in, and he was spot on, just as this Michigan defense and offense has been. Jake Moody preparing to kick it away after the Peoples-Jones return. A special, gifted talent he is.
They called him the freak back in high school.
Bruce Feldman said he was the freakish of the freak in his column that he puts out every year. Spielman will field this one off the bounce. Bruce will be busy later today with that TCU-Texas game alongside Joe Davis and Brady Quinn. It looks like Andrew Bunch is going to be able to come back. So that's certainly good news for Scott Frost.
It really is. It gives him a chance to get his backup quarterback in there and preserve the guy that is the future, Adrian Martinez. He is a stellar athlete.
Now, think about it. They've got Purdue coming up next. Then they're at Wisconsin, at Northwestern, in Minnesota. I mean, it's the Big Ten. Okay, you got it. And for them to have any chance to win games, and by the way, the Boilermakers, arguably one of the better 0-3 teams out there, they're winning right now. J.D. Spielman takes the slant, moves ahead for 9 on the play on the pass from Bunch. Young man from Thompson Station, Tennessee.
You know, pressure's coming from up here. And again, I know you're at home saying they're pouring it on. This is just the defense that they play.
Yeah.
And you run right in the teeth of it every single time. There's going to be bodies around Don Brown's defense. You know, Watson did a fantastic job there, filling and coming off the edge. Number 28 coming into your living room. That's 4 tackle. Shoulder to the left, around the waist with the arms and lift and the put down.
The previous play is under further review.
In a lot of ways, Don Brown reminds me, I think they're thinking that maybe the takedown was a little too strong, therefore they're going to take a look at it.
Yeah, you look for
bulldozing a player, which, by the way, Don Brown told us about the Khaleke Hudson targeting last week. He said, I don't know. Could be a medical conversation too. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, Don Brown said after the Khaleke Hudson targeting, he said, I'll be honest with you, I don't know what to tell the kid because I felt he did everything. He moved his head accordingly, and Jim Harbaugh without question, Jim Harbaugh.
There was a medical stoppage to examine number 10 from Nebraska. Okay. There was no foul on the play.
You wonder sometimes, though, in today's game, if that was not considered too big or too physical a takedown. That's the world we're now swimming in college football.
I'm glad that the official had the presence of mind to make that clarity again, because the context does matter.
Yeah.
You know, if you come off the week that they had last week with those 2 questionable calls.
You could see Don's reaction.
You know.
He's thinking the same thing we were thinking.
And our crack staff, who's so involved in our stuff that we do every single day, presence of mind enough to get that shot of him. Anticipating. So you take a look at the targeting call of last week that precipitated our thinking process today.
Right.
And it's a questionable one. So here's the Viper, Timmy. He gets called for it. Looks like it's helmet to helmet to a shot to the side, but he tries to turn his shoulder.
His shoulder hit the other shoulder. But because the helmet was near there, anything near the headgear, they will always err on the side of conservatism, and that will be tagged. Ozigbo is ahead for the first down for Nebraska. But I get Don Brown's point. I do. And he said, you know, I guess I'm old school. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing this. But, you know, the game is going to be a lot different in future years than it is now.
No question.
And that's of great concern to him.
Right guard move there. That's
Ball start. Offense number 56. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's Bo Wilson, who backs up Farmer at that right guard spot.
And Bo's a big boy. He's 295. Redshirt sophomore. And that guy right there is defense. Ron Brown is enough to pull you out of your stance, but you've got to continue to demonstrate you've got the discipline to hang in there.
This is the 29th game coached by Don Brown here at Michigan. And Spencer, if things hold true here, this will be the 10th time that he's held the opposing quarterback to under 100 yards passing. That is an incredible stat when you consider what he's done in what is supposed to be, by most pundit standards, a high-risk, high-reward defense.
Well, Timmy,
it's pretty consistent for all the risk-taking that allegedly this one high defense is about.
There are 2 fouls on the play. roughing the passer, low hit on the quarterback on the defense.
To finish your thought, Timmy, you know, his defense.
Holding number 10 on the offense. Those fouls offset, repeat, first down.
So Spielman equals things out. Here's the roughing coming from Josh Ross.
Yeah, he put that, you're low, and then you put your head down. And again, that's not in danger of being a targeting, but one of the things they're looking for, the crown of the head going down.
Correction, both fouls were on the defense. Roughing the passer, defense. Holding, defense. The holding penalty be declined. The roughing the pass was accepted. 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Well, that makes a difference. So Bush and Ross both called, the middle linebacker and the Will linebacker. So the Mike and the Will both tagged, and Don is in disbelief.
Well, I think that, you know, to finish the thought on how prolific Don Brown's defense is, we know that they're great in pass defense, #1 in the nation last year, but they were 20th against the run. And typically you find just the polar opposite of that. You look at his total defense rankings there, first in the FBS, third in last year, as I just talked about. I mean, he's phenomenal. Great against the pass, stellar against the run.
Looping it for Stanley Morgan. And he brought it down. This is a kid that knows his future is now, and that he needs to play well against this kind of secondary if he wants to play at the next level.
Yeah, watch him go high point this ball right here and pluck it out of the air. 50-50 ball, makes it his own. That's outstanding. Last week he scored, and they tried to celebrate it with him on the sideline, and he pushed him away because, again, he understands that they're behind on the numbers on the scoreboard. That fella, I like his attitude, the way he plays.
Troy Walters, the OC, was telling us last night that he was salivating for an opportunity to go up against this defense. There's a nice little toss out of the option, but look at the recovery by Bush.
Delvin Bush, a middle linebacker, man. He's not really a middle linebacker. He's about 220. But did you see the closing speed on this? Watch him go out here. The back is going to create an option environment, the little check step, and the deal on the perimeter. And then look at the closing speed. That's not supposed to happen, folks. That's a linebacker chasing down a running back.
You can put him virtually at any spot, whether it's the Will or the Mike, and he'll be just as effective. And he runs right into Bush again. This time does Devon Ozigbo.
And the flexibility of this defense, Don Brown can put him pretty much anywhere he wants to, whether it's pressure on the perimeter. He can obviously have the latitude to go into the line of scrimmage and to affect the play as well. You know, the guy that wanted that play to be on is number 10.
Offside. Defense number 97. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
That's Hutchinson, the freshman from Dearborn, Michigan. This is the first time that Nebraska has been in the red zone today.
And that's where you look for pressure. Again, you got to expect that the context determines the strategy. If you're getting close to the end zone, you better believe they're going to dial up pressure. They'll roll from a no safety look, zero coverage, no safety on the back end, all the bodies around the line of scrimmage, Tim.
Ozigbo runs right into the teeth of the defense. Josh Ross, number 12, leading the charge. Sophomore from Southfield, Michigan, St. Mary's Preparatory.
So when we tell you it's a numbers game, that's a classic example. Absolutely no safety. All the bodies around the line of scrimmage makes it tough to find space to run.
Barrett Pickering will try to stop the shutout. Boot through this field goal drive, 35 yards. Out of the hold of Isaac Armstrong, 98. The Cornhuskers get on the scoreboard. Last time they were shut out, by the way, was 96 against Arizona State. It is now 46-3. No question, Thursday nights are getting a lot bigger. Fox becomes the new network home for Thursday night football. The Vikes, the Rams, a battle of NFC heavyweights Thursday at 7:30 Eastern on Fox. Also live on NFL Network and streaming on Prime Video. Now it's a game. And
did you see Baker?
How about Baker? Yeah, he was something special.
Playmaker. Baker.
Remarkable game that those guys and our Fox production team had on the NFL Network.
You couldn't have scripted a better debut for him in the context coming in, saving the game.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Ambry Thomas is going to let this one go through for the touchback. And Dylan McCaffrey, part of the, talk about great athletic families. He comes from one, no question about it. Dylan's an incredible talent. Brother Christian played at Stanford, star running back with the Panthers, as you know. His mom, Lisa, played soccer at Stanford. His dad, of course, a part of Super Bowl championships with the Denver Broncos. Called a lot of the McCaffrey's games all the way up and through the father and the basketball playing son as well. This is a young man that is earmarked for tremendous success. Sophomore from Castle Rock, Colorado. As Amari Samuels in the backfield with him. Well, he'll take it himself and look out. Marker down. He will house it, but it's thrown in an area where holding could be called. We'll wait for it. 75 yards, but it would appear to be preliminary signal holding against Michigan.
It may have been Oliver Martin, the wide receiver out there, and that's where the flags are laying down about the 30-yard line. Number 80 may get called for the holding penalty.
Holding. Offense number 80. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
Right on, partner.
Well, you can see him. He's out here working on the perimeter. Again, he's got his hands inside, which is pretty good, but he just doesn't let him go. You know, the officials are looking for a couple of things. First of all, if your hands are on the outside and as the runner passes you, can the would-be tackler disengage? If he can't, he knows it's holding going on, even if he can't see your hands.
Now, one of the things that Harbaugh prides himself on is blocking wide receivers.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's one of the first things out of his mouth. And since they brought in Jim McElwain, the former head coach at Florida and quarterback whisperer for, among others,
what a
A.J. McCarron at Alabama.
No question.
He has made a big difference with the route running and the abilities to get open. The separation now being created by this wide receiving core. That's Christian Turner taking it ahead, the freshman from Buford, Georgia. There's Jim, one of the really affable guys in the business. Had a tough experience at Florida. And
but he brings that head coaching experience along with him, with the detail, as you pointed out, with instructing these wide receivers on the finer art of creating separation, doing the things that are necessary to help a quarterback out.
You know, Jim does get some help. We talked about the number of analysts that you're allowed to have, and he uses that information as best he can. Analysts, by the way, cannot coach the team, but they can gain information or scouting information and pass it along, as you see Jake McCurry on the receiving end. But for him, for Jim to be active and staying in it, I think says a lot about how he feels about resuscitating his own career as a head coach.
No question about that. And I also think that this helps Jim Harbaugh as well. It helps his case of not naming a quote-unquote offensive coordinator. It's kind of a community thing, shared responsibility.
It's his team, no question. He loves and praises all the help that he gets. Amari Samuels gets in there for a couple of yards, and he doesn't stop coaching. It's the little things, Spencer T.
Yeah, you see he's got those pinkies together. When that ball's coming up above your waist, he wants to play. He's engaged in the game. Again, on a little basic play outside, he wants his quarterback to throw the ball away, right? He's in the real-time situation. Once again, who's supposed to run the route? You throw that one away, hey, just down the clock that ball. Hey, the back. Weren't you supposed to be the release route there? Hey, he's still coaching, man. He's engaged.
I think at night he thinks about playing for Teddy Marchibroda.
It was one of the influences
with the Colts.
in his life.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He still thinks he can play. Nice crossing pattern to Oliver Martin.
Yeah, he atones for the penalty on the previous play. Again, did Oliver on the opposite side of the field this time, moving it around. A nice little rollout play on a deep crossing route from number 80. He's going to make his way back across the field. You can see him clear it out. It's a zone coverage, and so he's going to find a little window in there. Nice job by McCaffrey of fitting it into that big window so that he could make a play.
Samuels stopped at the 40-yard line. We're really close friends, you and I, with Archie Manning, and of course the Manning Passing Academy always takes place. We love talking about quarterbacks, and on many an occasion Archie has talked to us about running into Jim.
Oh yeah.
And from a coaching standpoint, and how's it going? And it's like, well, I'm still throwing it pretty good. That's one of the things that you love about guys like Harbaugh that have moved on and made as big a mark in coaching as they had as players, but they still think like players think. Here goes McCaffrey again.
Wow. McCaffrey showing some of that family DNA with the physical finish. You don't think Harbaugh likes that? He loves his quarterback putting his shoulder in there, man. Most coaches are shrieking when they see the quarterback take a shot or deliver one. Not Harbaugh. He's loving every bit of that. Watch McCaffrey. Oh, that shot. He was a pop to the head, too, the side of the helmet.
And you think about it, Spencer. There have been blue chip quarterbacks signed all 4 years by Jim Harbaugh. Going back to Rudock, Wilton Spate, John O'Korn. We were in here for Brandon Peters a year ago. You think how much this offense has diversified since that game we saw with Minnesota here a year ago. It's just amazing. There's Turner again. Stopped this time at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, he's trying to get those quarterbacks. You mentioned O'Korn, who transferred from Houston. Spade had all kind of injuries. But again, here's the number. Look at Jake Ruddick in 2015, 64% completion. Spade had a ton of injuries that affected his ability to be a consistent performer as well. And so you look at him, O'Korn, as I said, came from Houston, transferred, lost a starting job there. And he's finally got a guy in Shea Patterson who can be that guy for him, who we can nurture. He's got a little time left.
His talent, I think, is a reminder of the days of Chad Henne when Michigan really had it going on. That pass is air-mailed, no flag, crowd wants one. Jake McCurry was the intended receiver. Aaron Williams covering.
Sorry about that, partner. One thing they're really liking McCaffrey's ability to throw on the move, and they're moving him out of the pocket, mainly because he's a run threat, and that's when he's best. You know, a lot of times if quarterbacks lack a strong arm or the kind of accuracy, moving him that direction can actually assist him in getting the ball downfield. It's really about assessing his skill set and finding out what he does well, and we're doing that on this series.
Third down and 8. Clock continues to tick with a little over a minute remaining in the third. Fade to the corner.
Nice.
There's Martin. Incomplete. Boy, that looked awfully good, didn't it?
Well, there was a dime. He dropped it in
there. It sure was. He couldn't have done a better job throwing the ball.
Hey, look, it gets press coverage. A little move, double move inside, and then gets that right hand just to create enough of a separation. Hands it, just can't complete the catch. But he makes a great effort. Yep. You know, a lot of times if guys have body control, they can actually keep that ball in the air.
That's good coverage by Boodle. He did the only thing he could. And he took a pretty good hit.
The back end of it.
Now a 38-yard try for Nordin. Looking for his second field goal of the day. Only the one missed PAT, a blemish on his record. An otherwise wonderful day. First day of fall in the Big Ten. And it has been all Michigan. 49-3, Michigan with the lead. 58 ticks remaining here in the third quarter. I'll tell you, said before the game started today, Spencer, the kind of game you grow up on, and I just think about as a youngster, games at high noon in the Big Ten.
I didn't get any bigger
60s.
than this.
Oh yeah, well, Nebraska didn't play Michigan in the regular season very often, but both are storied programs that we always saw. And in those days, not as many games were televised, but when they were, almost always you felt like you were seeing Nebraska, you were seeing Michigan, the traditional colors, and remarkable pedigree of talent throughout the years. Now let's get a game break with Greg Wolf in Los Angeles.
Tim, thanks. We go back to Columbia. Number 2, Georgia, having their way with Missouri. Jake Fromm finds Jeremiah Holloman, manages to stay in bounds, and he goes 61 yards for the touchdown. Bulldogs lead 33-14, third quarter. Tim, Spencer, back to you.
I don't think there's any question Drew Lock is a really talented quarterback, but Missouri just does not have the defense necessary to stop a Fromm or all of the other great talent that Kirby Smart's got at Georgia.
Well, he's got defense in spade, and he learned from the best, Nick Saban, for a long time.
Washington bouncing outside and hammered by Martellus. Martellus with the takedown of Maurice. Josh Martellus came away with that big interception off the tip drill, had the big one to really close out that game with SMU. SMU was driving. They had the ball on the Michigan 36 with time winding down in the second quarter, and then the return he made to get into the end zone was just incredible. And That helped put that game away. Second and 10. Brett Bell burrows under about the 26-yard line.
You know, Tim, one of the things I've noticed about Don Brown's defense, a lot of times if they're even undersized, they are able to athletically move and still stay in a phone booth and play with a measure of integrity. In other words, they never get out of their run-fit lanes significantly enough to compromise those big gushing run plays. I mean, they're so sound, so athletic.
Well, we've come to the end of 3. Trying day for Scott Frost in his young career at his alma mater. Jim Harbaugh's team clicking on all cylinders and making sure the Big Ten knows Michigan is back for now. FS1 College Football, sponsored by Dave & Buster's. Eat, drink, play, and watch sports. In the world we live in, Spencer Tillman, Scott Frost, a new coach taking this job, and I made the statement prior to the Akron game. I thought that this was the most influential hire in college football since Saban to Tuscaloosa 11 years ago. A lot of people taking their shots now, particularly given the social networking world we live in. But I will advise to those that are taking their shots, Nick Saban went 7-6 and lost at home to ULM his first year.
I remember we were at another place working, but the bottom line is I think Scott Frost has a long view of things.
Yes, he does.
He's got a plan. He anticipates things. I bet in a private room without consequences, he would not tell you he expected to be winless at this point. However, he did understand the difficulty of the road, and he planned accordingly. So I think what you have is a competent coach, a coach who understands how to rebuild things. After what he did with UCF, I have all the confidence in the world.
Well, in today's world, I think memories only last 2 weeks.
That's right.
But if you look at the profession for what it is, the job that he did at UCF and his pedigree coming up, even Jim Harbaugh said to us when we visited him, he respects everything he's done as a college coach.
Yep.
Ronnie Bell will bring this one back. That's a face mask. I don't see a flag yet, though. Wow. He's up to the 29.
How did that one get missed?
I don't know how you miss. Wow. I don't know how you missed that. Now, Harbaugh is apoplectic, and I don't blame him.
Oh, man.
Bell is saying, well, okay, no big deal, but I think Jim feels otherwise.
You know, if a guy makes it, I can get it. If a guy makes an effort to kind of get rid of it, you know, I will say this. It eventually comes, but I will say this, Tim. Immediately when he saw that he had the helmet, it comes off. I mean, not making an excuse for it, but.
It wasn't intentional, but it happens. It's there for everyone to see. And without the big board, I don't know if it's called.
Return, personal foul, face mask, kicking team. 15 yards from the end of the run, first down. Timeout.
Alex Davis was the guilty party. Well, they did get it right in the end, and that's what matters most. We'll be back. The 90s were a marvelous time for both of these programs, but how they missed them in Nebraska and are longing to bring them back. Over the top, McCaffrey, and wide open Thomas. Pass was a little underthrown, and it gave the defender, DiCaprio Bootle, time to get back and help break up that play. Could have been a touchdown.
A lot of air underneath that ball. That indeed it gave DiCaprio Bootle a chance to kind of eye it and claim it as his own. Got his head turned around so as to not detract the attention. A penalty on that play. He just did a fine job of tracking a ball that had way too much air underneath it. Great effort, great defensive help by the safety to close it out.
Samuels remains the setback. McCaffrey's going to take a timeout.
Charge timeout, Michigan. It's a full media timeout.
Remember, this Wolverines team will be at Northwestern next week. There's the Hall of Famer, Dan Deerdorf. Smile and wave, Dan. You're getting on camera time. He's not so far removed from being in this business, he should know it's time to smile and wave.
It looks good, man.
You
Hey,
got to
my
smile
brother.
and wave. He and Jim Brandstatter calling the games for the Michigan Network. Bruce Made, the longtime iconic public relations man and teacher here on the campus at Michigan.
He's the best.
Oh,
man.
he's a
Gosh,
wonderful
he's a
human
good
being.
man.
So good to see him. You know, talk so often about the relationships that we have in our industry. And
I got your embrace when you came up. He hugged you, man, like he was a long lost brother.
Really great guy. A Hall of Famer at both at playing the game and broadcasting the game.
Oh, nice separation.
Looping in, and there's Ronnie Bell. Ring up another Michigan.
Lamar Jackson was defending. Lamar Jackson, number 21, a little downfield hand check, press coverage. We'll see who's going to win the battle. Turning once he got those hips open after a nice chuck, actually helped Bell get down the field and create even more separation, and then made him wide open. You talk about throwing and assisting the player open. Man, he didn't intend for that to happen, but Bell gets in. Wow.
Spencer, it's become a who's who in the booth.
Oh, how about that, man?
The Sklar twins have made their way
I see him, man.
The epic hosts of Cheap Seats and cameo appearances in major motion pictures. McCaffrey liked it. Deerdorf liked it. The Sklar twins. I think John U. Bacon's going to write a book about it. He's in the booth, too. We'll be right back.
So this is how you rise from the scout team last season to a backup role this year. Nice job. Hey, every once in a while you don't get it right. You throw one overthrown, you off the mark a little bit, get him in trouble, but then you come right back into another shot. You put it right on the money. That's how you do it. That's about progress. Every single play getting better and better. Bell pays it off from McCaffrey. Outstanding.
Dylan's got to be happy, and so too is this Michigan offense, because you're only one play away, right, from being the guy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've been waiting for it, and by demand,
yes,
it's time now for Saunders Wonders.
Oh, you give me way too much credit, Tim. I wandered over to the Bentley Historical Library this week, which opened in 1972. They had over 1 million photos. I found pictures of the 1905 Michigan football team, Bo Schembechler's flip card from the 1986 Fiesta Bowl, and so much more. Lucky enough to have Greg Kenny in my tour with the 1997 media guide, Tim, which I can't remember. I think that was a big year for Michigan, right? I think something happened.
Yeah, I believe it was. Last year of the Bowl Coalition, and they went over Peyton Manning's Tennessee Volunteers. A blowout was the victory. I love that Bo Schembechler sheet she got.
Wow.
Man.
Hey, man, look at this. I think the bingo's in there. So Y flat. I remember that play.
Yeah.
XNM, Y flat, bingo. So that stuff's still around. Z flag. Over Jet 2 alert. Jeff 1 take it. Love it. Good stuff, man. Isn't that cool?
It is very cool.
Wow.
No top. I mean, takes you back. Bunch lets that one fly incomplete over the outstretched arms of Greg Bell. These defensive numbers Bo would absolutely love, wouldn't he? Look
4
at that.
sacks, 11 tackles for losses, and again, Don Brown understands it's all about defense. He puts the onus on his guys. 7 3 and outs. It doesn't get any better than that, but it begins with great coaching that makes it possible. The fundamentals of the game. He puts a lot of pressure on these guys, and they haven't failed it.
3rd down and 12. Pressure again. You can see even now they're trying to protect Bunch as best they can. Lindsey taken out of bounds. Since 1968, Spencer, Michigan has incredibly lost only 3 Big Ten openers. And today's win will have an astonishing 48-3 record in those conference openers. Other Big Ten lopsided opener wins: 2011 beat Minnesota 58-0. In 88, 62-14, and in 87, 49-0. Both of those were over Wisconsin. So they're not accustomed to anything really other than Big Ten opening day success here.
Well, that's why they're the winningest program in college football with 944 victories, Tim. Winning is in their DNA.
Bell lets this one roll down. You may recall Speaking of history, after that 55-yard boot, they have played, and we're not just talking leather helmets, we're talking before helmets.
Yeah, the kind you fold up and put in your back pocket. Did you call any of these, by the way, Tim? I'm just curious. That was an epic. That the 86 Fiesta Bowl, that one changed college football in a very real sense. Now look at this. Tim here.
I would never.
Hey, look at Tim. Here's Tim back here.
I would have never called that game.
Tim's in practice. He's got his board. Look at Tim standing up in the back.
I would have never called that game. There would have been no on camera and no makeup.
You would have refused to do it.
I would have refused to do it. Yes.
Okay.
Samuels. Ball's loose. And still loose. I believe Michigan may have gotten on top of it late. Great awareness by that offensive front that's been so dominant today. Backup groups are in there now. Fleanya, I believe 66. Freshman may have gotten on top of this one.
Yeah, but if you want to define whether or not your guys are still active, just look into the interior line play, man.
Actually, it was Vastardis 68.
Yeah, Vastardis was the guy.
66 was close, but 68 actually retrieved it.
He's at center.
McCaffrey. That one was thrown like a dart and surprised Jared Wangler. Number 5 falls incomplete.
What you're seeing right now is a guy that's not necessarily used to throwing, not getting all those earlier reps. McCaffrey off the mark a little bit. Wangler's it's coming hot for him. Execution lacking relative to what we saw in the ones.
Hey, the Kansas Jayhawks have won 2 in a row.
How about that?
They're playing Baylor next year on FS1.
Walk chalk.
After losing to Nichols out of Thibodaux, Louisiana, they backed it up with a couple of wins. Won a road victory, which hadn't happened in forever. Oliver Martin, the intended receiver there. Lamar Jackson giving chase.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson just squeezed that sideline and just took it away from him. Still some good football being played, and believe me, it's kind of like a preseason game in football. That 4th game, you're still watching game film, getting it out there. In the case of Nebraska, you better show well, because there's going to be some tough choices made, and guys have to define who they are.
You know, a lot of people looked at Michigan this year as a potential sort of Georgia of last year, that the potential was there, and I think in some measure, after this beautiful punt by Hart,
that's your pitching with. That's a nice pitching with there.
But I think one of the reasons for it, Spencer, was the schedule, the way it shapes up, which is rather favorable. And here's a look at the Coors Light Road Ahead, the world's most refreshing beer, and that's not a bad-looking schedule. Northwestern, Joel and Gus will have that one next week, and Jenny Taft. Then Maryland, who's been kind of a Jekyll and Hyde act. Wisconsin, not sure whether what we saw last week is what we might see this. We'll find out tonight in prime time. You circle the Buckeyes there at the end for Michigan. It really is all about that, isn't it?
It is. Again, you look at the collective record against Michigan State and Ohio State. That's what Jim Harbaugh has to overcome.
And I think that the issues for Scott Frost will not get any easier playing a Purdue team that's far better than their record. And David Blau has seemingly taken control, the veteran quarterback from Sindelar, at least most recently. Then they play at Wisconsin, who Frost has said took Nebraska's blueprint and played better at it than Nebraska did.
And they won't
From
have
the Alvarez days forward to now Coach Christ.
And they will have a bye on the 27th of October. There's a lot of work that needs to be done between now and then.
Yeah. Gut check and a cerebral check as you see Bunch breaking free and running beautifully here out to the 27-yard line. Nice play action and movement there on the fake. 22 yards. This was really well conceived, this play.
Well, Adian Hutchinson, I thought actually had him right here. He's coming on the inside game move.
Whoops.
And he comes back. He's being held. That's the reason why he can't get out of there.
Yeah.
And he loops back around and then can't make a play.
To the credit, perhaps, of the officials, they're letting the clock tick. They're human, too. Ozigbo ahead for about a year or two. I like the fact that Bunch held on to this as long as he could, Spencer.
Yeah, he's reading it. You know, he's reading it, because that end is committing. That's what he's reading.
Yeah.
And then he pulls it out eventually again. He gets around the end middle line of scrimmage, who was being accosted on the edge over there.
Hutchinson had no chance. That was a mug block. 2nd and 10. And by the way, we talked a little bit about Penn State last week, Spencer, as Hutchinson makes that tackle. And the favorable schedule they have, a lot will depend on how they play against Ohio State next week in a highly anticipated game. But for Penn State, you can make a case that their toughest out will be at Michigan, because they have Michigan State, Ohio State, Wisconsin, obviously all coming to them. But they still have to come to the Big House and play.
Well, I think Michigan's future is really bright because they haven't even delved into probably 75% of what they can do in the throw game.
Yep. Ozigbo lost it. It's on the deck, and a marker's down as well. You know, ball security, and we were discussing this with Troy Walters last night, and he said, you know, we do ball security before every practice, but you begin to wonder at times, and Scott Frost had his back when he made the statement, sometimes you do it, but how seriously are you taking it while you're practicing it? Well, this team's got to really look at themselves in the mirror about ball security.
Well, the only way you judge that is by what they do. If the ball comes out, I think it's fair to make some assumptions.
Hunter Miller came on top of that, the backup center, number 66, to save possession. But let's check the flag here.
Personal foul, shot block, offense, numbers 56 and 66. Half the distance from the previous spot. Repeat, third down.
John O'Neill, our white hat referee, with the call.
I said Bo Wilson was out there, number 56. He gets, when you're engaged with one other player and you come below, that's when they're going to catch you every single time. So Bo was down on the ankles after the player was actually being engaged by another. And particularly if you're outside of that little 5 yards block area from tackle to tackle, you can't do that.
Ozigbo remains the setback, and Bunt steps up. Incomplete. Jerron Woodyard, number 88, the junior, out of the state of Maryland, the intended receiver. Tough indoctrination for both Bunch, who's not had many opportunities to play, and certainly Adrian Martinez. Such anticipation about his return. And I think from a health standpoint, Spencer, he looked fine. I think the issue was he was running for his life against this defense. He was absorbing a lot of hits, which was a concern for Scott Frost when we visited last night. 9:17 remaining. As Barry Switzer would say, they've hung half 100, Spencer, half 100.
Let's go to the house, big boy.
Yep. 56-3 our score. Those guys had the helmet, a great helmet. Michigan with the lead. A reminder, every game is everything. And coming up on Fox, TCU and Texas, big matchup in the Big 12, and Wisconsin against Iowa. Well, what a marvelous setting that will be at Kinnick tonight. I think Joel has never been in there. He's done the Cyhawk game, but only in Ames.
Gets to see the
he gets to see the wave. Yeah, Brandon Peters now is in the game at quarterback. Started here so often, and look at that run from Christian Turner. Just more of the same from Michigan.
Yeah, but Timmy, I can tell you there are a couple of Cornhuskers that are really playing. I want to show you this slam rock here on the outside of this play. If we get a chance to look at it again, as Jim Harbaugh is pacing the sidelines, man, there are a couple of Nebraska Cornhuskers that are still engaged in this game and playing at a high level. And when they look at the game tape, they're going to be able to discern who's still engaged and who's not. It's up at the top of your screen. Look at this collision that takes place on the perimeter.
Yeah.
Not after the big game, though, but it tells me something about the attitude on the edge, particularly the corner spot.
19 yards for Turner.
There again, another same guy.
Yeah, at this point, you can tell who's into it and who's not, who's committed and who's not for Nebraska.
Take a listen at Boodle here, number 23. Man, that's just effort. I mean, you love to see that if you're a coach. I had one guy tell me all the time, Richard Smith, who was a former defensive coordinator, he said, son, I don't know your name, but your arms are pumping like heck, and that tells me something about you. Turner
again carrying it. Going back to that Wisconsin-Iowa game for a second, Spencer, because I think it's important to note that the use of wide receiver, which was notably missing from Stanley at quarterback when we were there for the Cyhawk game, they utilized the wide receiver a great deal more, and Fant, the tight end, the can't-miss tight end, Noel Fant. To me, that's got to be the focus of Iowa if they're to pull off the victory against the 18th ranked Badgers.
They look a lot like this Michigan team in some regards in terms of their suite of assets, tight end, receiver.
Looping it towards the corner, and that might have been picked. That's Deontay Williams that came away with it, but they're going to rule it incomplete. He was out of bounds.
Yeah,
Good coverage, though. No question about that.
Great coverage. He had his Superman cape on, though, and he was parallel to the ground when he dove Williams. You can see as he came down, that knee was down. Whoa.
4th down. Great effort there. You love seeing that. Youngster out of Jacksonville, Florida. Sophomore. And will we have a review here? I believe we may.
You should have a review.
Yeah, I agree.
The first angle we looked at, I thought his knee was down.
I did too. Control of the ball also important.
Oh, he had that.
Yep. I'm with you. That's a pick.
The ruling on the field in the previous play was an incomplete pass. That ruling is under further review.
At first glance, I certainly thought it possibly was an interception.
Well, when you're in the end zone, and it can be tough to see it, but you look for the rubber debris from these turf fields. It's got that shredded rubber in it, and when it bounces up and you can see it contrasting, it's tough to see it against the black part.
Dino, America wants to know, what do you see?
You know, with the score the way it is, I didn't think I was going to get a chance to talk to you guys. But I'm excited now.
Well, this is
right knee down in bounds. Yeah, right knee down in bounds. He maintains control. The official saw the upper body land out of bounds and didn't see the knee. This is an interception. The call should be overturned.
Well, you know, that's the longest layout I'm ever going to give you.
I was trying to hold him back, Dino. I was trying to hold him back.
I know.
We're doing what we can, short of tap dancing here. And listen to the hail to the victors. You know the thing I love about coming to Michigan, Spencer? Game's a blowout, and look how many people in Mays on a Mays out are still here.
Well, listen, the tradition speaks for itself, Timmy. Again, these are two top programs. It truly is a tale of two cities. Dickens had it right, the best and the worst of times. The worst for Nebraska, the best for Michigan right now, it seems. And but these fans are with them through and through. It's not like Harbaugh's out of the woods in a lot of regards. They're on the uptick, there's no question, but he needs to get success against the Ohio States and the Michigan States of the world.
And I think the transference of this kind of success running the football, which is great against a team like Nebraska, that's fine. But it's about what you do against Michigan State, Wisconsin, Ohio State. And they have not run the ball as well as this, not even close against those kinds of teams.
The defender had firm possession of the ball and a knee down in the end zone, which results in an interception. First down.
Chalk one up for Dino.
Yep. And he worked well into the night last night.
Yeah, he was up late.
As did our studio crew, by the way. I actually woke up and I'd fallen asleep before the end of the game because we had such an early wake up.
Yeah.
And the game was still going on. Those guys did a good half hour to 45 minutes after the game last night.
They were looking good. Stoner, yeah, he did have a blue, nice little strapping suit on and a nice quiet action going on.
I don't think there's a harder working man in television than Rob Stone. Man. Bunch with a pass, little curl to Lindsey. Tyjon's got great speed if he can get away, but he is corralled. That's Jalen Kelly Powell, 16, that wraps him up. Sophomore out of New Jersey from Cass Technical.
You're right, he does. Tyjon does have a lot of speed. They never were able to get their quick game going, mainly because of the press covers that they were getting, even at this point. You know, sitting here with 56 points on, they're still doing what they do. Look at the relative distance between these two guys. That's press coverage. That's single high safety again, rolling to it. That's just the DNA of this defense.
Well, Wyatt Mazur with his first carry, number 37. Junior from Albion, Nebraska, getting some playing time against his home state. Opportunity for this young man to get some playing time for the Cornhuskers.
You know, people ask you all the time, well, why do they have to play this kind of defense when you're up so much? It's like a racehorse, man. If you got Seabiscuit, you can't tell them not to run. That's what they do.
Yeah. There's a quick out. Goes right back to Missouri.
That'll be a flag on this one. Shots been blown now, man.
That's going to be roughing the passer, no doubt about it. You know what you're thinking if you're Don Brown. Please, no targeting between now and the end of the game.
Roughing the passer with targeting.
Oh, boy.
Defense, number 7.
Wow.
15 yards from the end of the run.
Wow.
Automatic first down. The ruling of targeting is under further review.
Man, that could be 2 weeks in a row. No Khaleke Hudson in the first half. And at Northwestern, that is not good. He can't believe it. Let's take a look at this, Spencer.
Yeah, well, here's the contact again. You got the head.
Yeah, I can't do that.
You know, you can't do it. That's the reason why you want to keep your head up if you're finishing or making contact with the guy. When you put the crown down or you feel yourself below the quarterback, you have to just have control of your body, man. It's tough to do when you play the viper position, but I'd love to hear what Dino has to say about this one, man.
What do you say, Dean?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. The defender, he can't lower his head and lead with the helmet and make contact with the crown. This to me is targeting, and I think the call should be confirmed here.
And again, because you're on the road next week against a Northwestern team.
After further review, the ruling on the field of targeting is confirmed. By rule, number 7 is disqualified from the game.
And that's pivotal with a road game at Northwestern next week. And granted, they've been a disappointment. Lost last week to Akron. The Fighting Terry Bowdens beat them, and he's got a pretty good team. But you know, Thorson and company, Northwestern's really good. They're better than their record, and you want all of your artillery when you play on the road.
Well, it's that, and it's the fact that it's a mission-critical position. This Viper spot for Don Brown. There are a lot of things that he wants to do defensively that he can't do without that position. Now, Glasgow did a nice job today, but he's not as athletic as the starter, and that can wreak havoc on what you want to do. You've got 8 ways to bring pressure from so many different angles.
And that time, Don Brown was upset with the player, not with the call, and that was clear. He knew Khaleke knew better. Mazur. And we could question, obviously, many times over what happened last week because of that was a shoulder. I don't know. The head is near it. Debatable. Call it 50-50 if you want, but certainly his defensive coach had his back there, but that time he went head first right into his man, and we've got as we come back to live play, an injured Wolverine on the field. But I think that's a vital, Spencer, not having Hudson for the first half for a second consecutive week, and specifically a road game against a hungry Northwestern team of Pat Fitzgerald.
Well, I think a lot of times we're used to seeing offenses wanting to get stuff on tape so that they can impact preparation of future opponents. But I think the same thing can be said for defenses. They want to get certain looks that they've got to put on the plate for opposing offenses.
We have not been able to identify as yet the injured Wolverine. We touched on it's number 19, Kwity Paye, who's also an outstanding talent and someone Don Brown loves. Kid is from Providence, Rhode Island. He was actually recruiting him to BC when he was there before he came to Michigan. He was really happy to get him to the Wolverine program and is very high on him.
He likes his narrative, his story. I mean, he's able to put on great weight, not lose any production. It's tough to tell, man. His feet are up in the air, which is actually a good sign. It's when the guy has weight on his feet and you see him experience or take a blow. That's when you can get those high ankle sprains. So it's tough.
We'll continue to check on Kwity Paye, and we'll return after this. All the concern for that young man, Kwity Paye. The good news is he's being offered very little, if any, assistance, and is able to get to the sidelines. Good for him.
He's a physical specimen. He's so well put together. And that was one of the things that Don was talking about, how he's put on so much real muscle. He's just a physical specimen playing a position that's critical to this team's defense. Not many guys from Rhode Island, man, play at that level.
No, and I think that's the part that Brown is so, you know, he loves that fact that he got that kid where he got him from, where he started his career as a coach. Missouri breaking tackles and is ridden down Nice work defensively to grab him and knock him to the turf by Reuben Jones.
Dane Drabaki was in his hip pocket, number 37, and he got him. Mazur said, just get off of me, man. I feel you like a net. And went and got some extra yards. That's a good physical run.
Yeah, to Michigan's credit, they have gone deep into their depth chart, or deep into their lineup. Over the middle of the slant, touchdown. That's Lindsey, and a marker down. Nothing coming easily today for the Cornhuskers. We'll have to check the flag.
Ineligible receiver downfield, number 88. He was covered and went downfield for a pass.
Yep.
5 yards from the previous spot. Still first down.
That's Jerron Goodyard.
So that's frustrating for Scott Frost. If he's covered up, he's not eligible to go downfield for a pass. And let's see if we can see it. So here he is right here. He's on the line of scrimmage. I'm not quite sure why that was called.
Well, had no effect on the outcome of the play,
No,
but
didn't.
he did get well down there. Woodyard.
It's nitpicky.
First and goal from the 15. Pressure for Bunch.
Great footwork.
Yeah, he's resourceful, isn't he? Well, that's going to be a flag. Ambry Thomas right in front of Woodyard there and did not make a play on the ball or turn his head.
Carl Myers was coming in there in 54, and I thought he had him dead to rights. Defensive lineman, he just got beyond him.
Pass interference. Defense, number 1. The foul occurred in the end zone. By rule, the ball be placed at the 2-yard line. First down.
So once again, the pressure was coming on a delayed blitz this way. Did a nice job of making one guy miss. Try to get up the field once again, and just a tremendous opportunity of making a guy miss and trying to extend the play.
Mazur in some trouble this time behind the line of scrimmage. Brad Hawkins making the stop, number 20. Second and goal.
Michigan trying to get their right personnel matchup.
And premature movement.
Offside. Defense, number 34. Jumped into neutral zone, forcing the offense to react. Half the distance, still second down.
Jordan Anthony. As Don Brown looks on.
Yeah,
I thought for a moment yesterday I might have to get some salt shakers for him. He was using the bottles.
When he was showing me the bunch formation?
Yeah, bottled water he was using for the formation.
And this is what he was showing us against.
Yeah.
This is the exact formation. And if this guy motions, this guy will bump it over. But they're probably going to run this out of the formation. You got to watch it.
Yeah.
Option game.
Mazur, and that's a touchdown for Nebraska. Well, the native of the state of Nebraska gets into the end zone. First touchdown of the day for the Cornhuskers.
I was looking forward to unpacking that little nugget on the trips formation, man. Got to get that back in there.
Well, we've emptied.
We tried.
We've emptied pretty much the entire bucket. For those of you thinking, what else are we going to discuss about the futures of these teams and the currency? Well, we've touched on about as much as we can today. Pickering with the extra point. Well, that young man feels good. That's what makes the college game fun. Absolutely. (56-10) our score. Finishing touches on a big home victory for the Michigan Wolverines. Coming soon, we'll see the Frost effect. Well, at least they're still optimistic.
The faithful, they're still here, man.
Some patience from those that made the long trip from Lincoln here.
We noticed that they're on the upper ring up here where the noise is kind of buffeted a little bit.
Yeah.
strategically placed there by
absolutely
30-second charge timeout,
Bob
Michigan.
Uebersein.
Wolverines decide to take a timeout prior to the kick. We were talking about Wisconsin playing later tonight and what Barry Alvarez did. I thought it was poignant what Scott had to say. He said, I've said this a bunch. Barry Alvarez, a Nebraska guy, and a lot of what Wisconsin's done is the Nebraska model. They've been out Nebraskaing Nebraska. He said that while he was coaching elsewhere. So we're here to fix that. But no doubt it definitely takes time, and he's figured that out in a very big way. 0-2 as a head coach, soon to be 0-3, and as a player, 25-2. That's as a Nebraska coach, clearly. As a head coach at UCF, he had an incredible record, but he inherited a team that had gone winless to turn that thing around.
Yeah, and hadn't won a home game since last September. That goes back a ways. I mean, you wouldn't believe that if somebody told you that.
Well, quick look now from other action around the country. Let's get a game break. Find out what's going on.
Yeah, Tim, coming up next on FS1, Baylor opens up Big 12 play against the Kansas team who hits the road for the first time since ending their 46-game road losing streak 2 weeks ago. Then at 4:30 Eastern on Fox, Big 12 action continues as a resurgent Texas squad coming off last week's win over USC takes on 17th-ranked TCU in the conference opener for both schools. Tim, Spencer, back to you.
All right, Greg, thank you. We see the conversation between Bunch and Martinez. I guess the good news, if there is any, for the Nebraska faithful is that both of those guys are upright and should be good to go next week. There's Christian Turner again taking it ahead.
I saw it. TCU only fell a few spots after falling to
How about the precipitous fall of Wisconsin?
Oh man, you think that was justified?
No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, you can lose. Anyone can lose to a quality defense, and BYU's got one. But that to me is yet another example of the branding that takes place in intercollegiate athletics, specifically college football. Wisconsin doesn't get the benefit of the doubt that Ohio State gets, that Alabama gets, that Clemson gets. And that's just the world we live in. And until we move this thing from 4 teams to 6 teams, and then to the optimum number of 8 teams, as much parity as there is, Spencer, we got another Wolverine on the field. Until we get some stability in the process, we're going to see the same 4 teams, or at least same 3 of the 4 teams almost every year.
Well, it's the same old adage. To me, it's about the eye test and the currency of the game being tradition. What all those teams you just mentioned have in common, they have richer traditions.
Right.
That's the bottom line.
Yep.
And for someone to say that each year stands on its own, that's not the case. We do carry over.
There's Chuck Filiaga, 66, I believe. Number 66 got his
ankle
caught. Yeah, it looks like the ankle got him.
And those big guys, too. There's a lot of weight that's on those ankles, dead weight.
And a lot of these guys, this is Filiaga, 66, the freshman from Texas, who does get a lot of playing time. He's not a 3rd or 4th teamer. He backs up Bredesen there at left guard. So this is a guy that they need and can help them in a lot of ways. But I'll give this to Harbaugh and his staff, Pep Hamilton and the rest of their crew. They have gotten as many guys into this game as possible once the outcome had been taken care of.
And I'll give him credit, too. I mean, while it may not be traditional, if it's working for him, I'm talking about this coaching situation with an
Pep right there.
There's Pep in the middle. There's Pepper right there. Pep Hamilton. I said Cleveland. I got to give him a little nudge about Baker Mayfield. Of course, he missed that by a year, but
he was excited for them.
He was cheering for him big time.
Very excited for them.
Yeah, Jim McElwain to his left.
It's good to see him getting off the field on most of his own power.
Pep's a good coach, too. He's one of those 5 or 6 guys in that group that they kind of OC by committee. And it's tough to make that happen, man. But apparently they're having great success doing it.
Turner again. Well, a reminder for those of you that are tuning in for Kansas at Baylor, that game is available right now on FS2 as well as streaming live on the Fox Sports app. We'll get you out there at the immediate conclusion of our game. Eric Collins and Evan Moore will have that one for you as soon as we conclude here.
Another one of those creative inverted tight end sets here. Coach Harbaugh still experimenting.
And Christian Turner's getting a lot of carries and doing a lot with it. Got to be impressed by this youngster out of Georgia, 5'11", 200. Another freshman that's getting the job done. That was Markel Dismuke, 19, that made the tackle.
He showed you a little bit of burst to get outside, and maybe the only thing he could have done is stayed in bounds, make that clock tick a little bit faster. That's about it. The only thing you can critique on that call.
Well, we really thought, particularly given the Martinez story and how well Nebraska had acquitted itself, especially on defense, when compared to last year's defense. But boy, Michigan just brought it all to him today. I mean, absolutely buried them after a little bit of success in the opening drive, which lead to the turnover. But, you know, the good news is he got some reps in, as you see Turner getting the first down. These reps may help him moving forward, but that's about this game turned on that play.
Yeah, that play set the tone. Again, it was a tip pass, but he showed you some elusiveness, but he was not fast enough to get away from this ball hawking. Don Brown, defensive coordinator for the Michigan defense. They were just so active up front, coming from many different directions. Because of that 3-4 front, sometimes they'll get into with one hand down. They've got games and deals working. It can be labor intensive for an offensive line to figure out exactly where the heat is coming from to play.
Now, Don Brown said, you know, I'm not a genius, but if I've got one more for you to block than you have to block,
it's math.
We're going to do it. And then I'm going to tell my defensive backs, hey, if you can't play man coverage, you can't play here. And by the way, if you get a little tired, let me know. We got reinforcements to come in there. That's the philosophy.
And nobody can deliver a difficult truth quite like he can with a smile, man. He can straighten you up and make you like it. I mean, and it's really good to watch. It's what a great coach will be able to do all the time.
I know the measurement in a lot of ways for Jim is what's going to happen at the end of the year, but you wonder why so many people are, especially here, are happy with what's going on. It's because of days like this. There's no denying that Michigan football, its core values matter to that man, and now he's got the talent to diversify, as you see this meeting, which is quick but cordial.
Yeah, and that's what we anticipated. Again, we know there's a long history there between these two coaches, and again, going back as far as 20 years ago when Coach Frost lobbied and indeed got a share of that championship. So it goes back a long way. They've got long memories.
Well, the Michigan Wolverines move forward. Are 3-1. Nebraska falls to 0-3 for the first time. They came in here 0-2 for the first time since 1957. It's way back since this program, as proud as it is, has ever been 0-3. And they got a lot of work to get done between now and next week, mentally and physically.
The good news is, Tim, they can't get any worse than it is right now.
Yeah, they got it handed to them today, and congratulations to Shea Patterson. Our final score, 56-10. Now let's get you out to Waco for Kansas and Baylor. Eric Collins, Evan Moore, they have the call for you right now.